Hey, what's up, guys? Megames GX here, and it's been a while. We have not streamed in a minute, but we're finally back from Nats in one piece. Because if you know anything about my Nats trip, it was definitely a wild ride. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm glad to be back, and hopefully back to getting to some sort of consistent, uh, live streaming schedule. At least like Mondays and at least one Monday a week. But yeah, we took Brandon to Nats, and that was a fun time. And I'm gonna talk about how I did up front. Didn't do too well. That's why we're here with the updated list, because I feel like my initial list kind of failed. So I kind of want to talk about, the pitfalls I kind of set myself up for um at Nats, and how you guys can really just like take Branded into this format and do well with it, because I think Branded's actually still quite good this format. Despite popular opinion, I do think Branded is probably one of the best non-fire decks, obviously. I think Tenpai is very good. I think Yubel is very good as well. So, those are things that we've been having to contend with. The Fiendsmith engine kind of changed up the game, so I want to talk about just kind of like how I was preparing for the Fiendsmith engine for Nats. I want to talk about my Nats experience, obviously, as much as I can talk about it, right? But yeah, we're gonna be talking Branded. I'm gonna go over the updated post info doc list as well, because I want to show you guys kind of like what an outline for Branded. I thought Marat's top 16 list, shout out to Marat, was very good, and I think that can kind of serve as a goalpost for what you should be aiming for with Branded this format. A a branded deck that's not afraid to be branded, essentially, because I think in my build initially, I was just kind of not. I was focusing on breaking boards more than anything, and that's kind of like what led to my deck's downfall, I think, in the end. Because I was able to play through the jungle that was Swiss, and that's always something you have to consider going into events, is just like, what are you actually going to end up seeing a lot of the time versus what you're going to project to see, because Top Cut is different than Swiss. So yeah, we're going to be going over the list and talk about all the new techs that we have. Obviously, the Asteria lines. We love Asteria, guys. I am running Asteria on this list. I do think Asteria is very good. It's a bit controversial. People think it's a bit controversial that I like Asteria, where I think it's just really good and branded. It's a fusion deployment monster through your um just through your normal line. So I'm gonna switch over to the desk cam, and then also my webcam. It's not properly set up, but we will do this right here on the fly, guys. That's why, you know, we ain't too professional around here yet. All right, so transform, flip vertical. Oh, wrong one. Transform, flip vertical. There we go. All right, so, and then I'm going to throw up the webcam here in a second, and we'll have the chat up. Also, guys, we do have the channel membership goal for this month. Very much do appreciate your guys' support. These videos and streams are literally not able to be done without your guys' support, so very much do appreciate that on the regular from you guys. So, let's see. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to have to plug in one of my webcams. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, so let's get this underway. Make that a bit more straightened out. Are you guys watching Euros today? The Euros looks like to be pretty cool this year. I saw Gabriel Nuts is going to Worlds now, so congrats to him. He's just he's out here always doing some really awesome stuff in Yu-Gi-Oh. All right, so now let's get that webcam up. Hello. There we go. I think that I can switch the perspective though. Flip horizontal. There we go. All right. So I do have to sort through the deck, so I'll be talking to chat, and also, wow, we are just so unprofessional today, forgive me. We're going to be talking with chat. We are also going to be answering some questions about Branded, and then we're going to be going over this deck profile. Just have to sort my cards, guys. Y'all know how it is. Been so busy since coming back. My phone hasn't been working. That's also been a thing. I don't know if that's something that happens when you travel, but my phone nuked itself, so you know, that kind of is what it is, and we are dealing with it. So but this format, I feel like that's just kind of this format in a nutshell, but all right, so this thing is not zooming in. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, guys, just gonna sort out these cards and talk about my deck choices. As you guys can see, I am on 60 cards. I did run 60 cards at Nats, and this list is actually kind of similar, and we're gonna talk about the differences, because what I did was at going into Nats, I was like, okay, because I did do a not a solid month of testing, but a pretty, solid 2 weeks of testing up until Nats, because we didn't quite know the format. I didn't quite know if I wanted to go to Nats until the very last second, essentially. But, I prepared for the fact that Fiendsmiths make a card called Desiree, which basically allows them to have, like, 2 Omni Negates on board at all times. So, like, essentially, our theory was, like, you have to have 2 board breakers in hand to even break a good Fiendsmith player's board. And I still think that's true. It's just that if you look at the replays and you look at what happened, there was a lot more diversity in the Fiendsmith engines. A lot of people weren't even running or ending on Desiree. I think the top players were, because they saw that as the best end board, but there was a lot of good players as well, just not even ending on it. And there was a lot of people just playing the deck unoptimally as well. So I think what I prefer, I definitely, like, prepared my deck for essentially getting to top cut, but when I got to Swiss, I didn't have a good time. So, like, I played yugioh, which I did win against. I played Fiendsmith Snake Eye going on my first round, lost the die roll. He has 1 card or 2 card combo plus 3 hand traps, draws into a 4th. And he doesn't even end on the Fiendsmith engine. He has it in his deck, but he said he didn't know the combos. The man was like, I'm going to drop out and play Edison. And it's like, my man, you probably should have done that, because I don't think he went very far. But, shout out to him. It was definitely an interesting start to my event, because I was like, oh, okay, so this is going to set the tone for the day, where a Fiendsmith player gets to misplay about 10 times and still make a disgusting board, where if I misplay once, which I did, I get completely punished. So that is kind of what it is. But he kind of had the full stop, so that was a quick 2-0 by him on me. Then I played Yubel and won against that. I played against Tenpai next, and I lost against that because my deck was just not prepared for Tenpai. You have to be prepared for Tenpai. I just was not prepared for Tenpai. Tenpai is such a good deck, actually, still, and I kind of did not respect it enough, so that is definitely, like, my fault on some level. So we'll talk about that too, because we saw the results. Tenpai did very well at this event, so I think that you kind of have to, like, definitely still have that in the purview. You gotta, like, consider Tenpai in the deck. Shout out to my boy Chase. Also, we're gonna start reading some chats. I'm sorry I missed everybody. Salty Fry, finally, my Friday can begin. Welcome to the stream, fam. Get the likes up before he even gets pops up. Let's get moving. Yeah, sorry guys for the late start. I can't even find my Vanquish Soul mat from Nats now, so I was, like, looking around for that. So, oh, okay, never mind. My friend has the mat. We're safe. Shout out to Christian. So yeah, no, guys, we're hopefully getting back into a regular schedule. I really miss making content. It's been 2 weeks since the last stream, and the last stream that you guys came through, it was my most popular stream of all time. So very much do appreciate the love. What oversleeves do you have? These are just Dragon Shield oversleeves. I just had an extra pack because I play European cards, so, like, you can get deck checked if you have European and American cards, it can kind of like looks suspect of you like stacking. So you just want to do double sleeve so you can't really tell, because like Euro cards and American cards obviously have different like card like qualities to them, so you can sometimes tell the difference, I think. Obviously, I think most people still play with like a lot of people just play with Euro cards in their deck and obviously don't like use that to their advantage. I think that like, but that's why I just double sleeve in order to prevent that from even like being a thing. So yeah, the Dragon Sleeve Overshields are pretty good though. I have Ultra Pros inside, and I want to switch from Ultra Pros, man. Ultra Pros have been good for the last couple months, but I've noticed they get dirty real even quicker than my KMCs, and at that point, what's the point, you know? Mackenzie, I don't have a stereo. What is a good sub? Another Bestial, just something. I think that Stereo isn't... I mean, you could do a third Cartesia too, because you guys will see in this list, I'm actually only running 2 Cartesias. Also, shout out to my Starlight Cartesias. Yuri Diaz has my other European one, but I have an American and the Europrint one right there. Very happy, guys. We are on the 2 Cartesia gang as long as I have my 2 Starlights. I do think it's actually correct to be on 2 Cartesia right now for the most part, because it really sucks drawing even the like 2 of them going second, so I think that's fine. Where we're at, I'm running 2 Quem, obviously. Here's the one, the Stellar the Whitewood. Shout out to my boy who came up to me and sold it for $20, sold it to me, so like I do appreciate that. We do have the Europrint Magnum now too, which I was happy about getting. We're slowly maxing the deck, guys, right before the ban list, right? And like I did make a video earlier today, guys. I don't think we're going to be on the next ban list, frankly. I think that Konami's testing the waters with like Gimmick Puppet being banned in Master Duel. It's a bit too soon for it to be banned over here though, my opinion. So I don't think we should be predicting really anything. I wouldn't be scared about anything. If anything, it's going to be Gimmick Puppet that gets banned. And I made a video earlier, guys. Go check it out if you haven't already, to see like my opinions on like what the Gimmick Puppet ban means for the deck and everything like that. Oh, we need a second Mercurier. We need a second Mercurier, that is for sure. So, yeah, we'll talk about Asteria, different things you can run with Asteria as well. We do have the extra deck here, pretty standard, but look at this, guys. Look at this little new upgrade we got here. Shout out to Carlos, man. We finally got a Starlight Lubellion. My friend Dom has a Starlight Alba. Shout out to Dom. So, like, we're slowly completing the max rarity branded, guys. I just gotta get a second Starlight Gwignall, second Starlight Mirror Jade, and then the extra deck's basically complete, which is very cool. And then the main deck's actually just getting there. So yeah, let's get that second Mercurier out so we can do this deck profile. So we do have the side deck here, which is quite interesting, as you guys will see. I'm not even gonna comment on it, but we do have an interesting oh, these go in the main deck, my bad. We do need the Book of Eclipses. I do think Book of Eclipse is very good right now, and we'll talk about like how I did not run Book of Eclipse at Nats, and that ended up being a huge huge mistake. I think that card's the most important board breaker in our deck right now, so that's something that we do have to consider. So let's find this little Mercurier. Okay, that is not either of them. Mercurier. Also, look at the token that we got. Very cool, very cool. Shout out to my crew that I went to Nats with. If it's even gonna focus. There we go. Got Yuri, got Christian, got Alejandro, got Ed, got some random guy I don't know. It was quite random. I cannot lie. Asteria is pretty unique in its abilities. That's a good question. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's not a real one-to-one kind of replacement for Asteria. That's why I think Asteria is a very good card in Branded. It fills a role that we don't normally have. Like, through a Branded fusion, we can just go Gimmick Puppet Lock or what, or sorry, we can get into Bridge into Cartesia even way easier than we were ever able to before. So it's definitely just like something to consider no matter what because of that factor. Like you can go branded fusion. You could like there Asteria fits into every single one of our combos. It combos very well with cards like High Spirits as well. The card pays for itself by bringing itself back. It's just like a very just like value centric card. It's always providing its value up front. Also, shout out to DD Orthros, the next gimmick puppet target, guys. Oh, here's my other Book of Eclipse. Let's go. We found the other one, so that is good. Now we're just also shout out to Black Rose Dragon. I might. Oh no, we have another Mercurier right here. We have to. And by have to, I mean, do we? We do have the Starlight Marinsa Seahorses for my boy Sam. Shout out to Sam. Goated channel mod in the chat. I picked up Molchummies for him, which we will be using in the deck profile. And then also these guys. So yeah, picked up a lot of really cool stuff on top of the Starlight Cartesias from Nats, which was very cool. And also one of the best part, honestly, the best part about going to any event is meeting people. Honestly, I will say I'm very privileged to have the platform that I do through you guys. I know we aren't the biggest channel, but also I think that what we're doing is not insignificant here, and like we help out, you know, the community with our branded content, and it's always great to meet people who have watched my videos and they're like, hey, thanks for the content, thanks for the, you know, like people have said to me over the weekend, like, you explain things like more concisely than other people with branded. You just get to the point, which you know, that made me happy because sometimes I feel like I'm not the best at explaining, but if I'm able to just like get to the point, that's great. Jake the Mountain Man, yo, how's it going? Audio and sound levels sound fantastic. Thank you, bro. Krabs, how's it going? Shout out to Krabs in the chat. He's the one with my Vanquish Soul playmat. He was just the goat right here, holding it down with me over the weekend. Appreciate you, brother. Hamza, how's it going? Inahuza, what's your opinion on main deck evenly match? I think it's very good main deck, honestly. I do think it's pretty good main deck. I will not lie. That's another thing I kind of regretted, was just not trying out like an evenly in the main, because sometimes, not gonna lie, I really do want to just go evenly match. Game one, which, you know, you can't without that. So yeah, guys, I cannot find my second Mercurier, so we're just gonna sub a Mercurier. I don't want to hold up the stream for too much longer. Oh wait, I do have these cards, so maybe they're in here now. Yeah, it has to be in here, right? Oh, we have the Blazing Branded King. Shout out to Yuri. Yeah, no, it's not in here. Okay, so we will be subbing a Mercurier. That's fine. All right. Let's get into the deck profile, guys. We've kind of waited a bit long. I'll read the rest of the chats too. Leave a like on the stream. Appreciate you, bro. Krabs TV, one of our newest channel mods. Very much do appreciate you. Evenly, Dark Ruler, no more. Dropper, Eclipse in the main. We'll talk in the deck profile about like what's the best. Board Breaker and Branded, because that's so like into Nats, I came in with Dark Ruler, Droplet, and Molchummy in the main, because I think Molchummy is honestly basically a board breaker in our deck. It draws us into our board breakers. It's very good against meta. I just had the deck building error because you don't main deck Molchummy on top of Dark Ruler no more. If you're maining Molchummy, you have to be careful about your ability to go first, because you sacrifice your ability to go first by main decking this card, because you do go second half the time. So half the time this card's alive, winning you the game. If you see this card, you win the game most of the time, because you just draw like 2 to 5 cards against a lot of decks, and that gets you into your engine. So it's very good. And I think once the new Molchummy comes out, we're definitely main decking it. But with this one, it's a bit more iffy because sometimes it's just not as good. So I was maining this as a way to beat Fiendsmith game 1. And I didn't play any Fiendsmith, and I just played Tenpai. So when I went against Tenpai and saw this going first with Dark Ruler, I had 2 bricks in my hand. So you can never main Dark Ruler and Perulia. I think you could main Droplet. I think you can main other quick plays. But that's why I'm siding it, especially in this updated deck profile. Zelda to play Asteria or not to play Asteria? That's the question. Of course. How you doing, Zelda? Your copy of Branded Fusion is way to Cartesia as well with Cartesia or Quem as well with Asteria. Exactly. Kill Lagoo. What's up, Francisco? How's it going, bro? Hope you're doing well. Maxi, how's it going? How's it going, Maxi? All the channel members in the chat, hope you guys are doing well. Make sure to leave a like, guys. We are trying to hit that channel member goal by the end of the month. We got about like 30 channel members right now. 40 is the goal. So very much would appreciate, guys, if you click the join button if you can. Help support the channel, like I said, for better content, for more content in the future, because obviously we can't do that without the support of you guys. And obviously we had an amazing time at Nats, so I just want to go over kind of my list here now. And we want to do, and we're gonna do combos afterwards as well. So, and then I'm thinking we can go over Nats deck lists, and then we could roast deck lists, or we could play some games. So whatever you guys want. I also have a package from Sleeve Chief, guys. Look at this. I got a package from Sleeve Chief. We have a ton of sleeves to review. They sent me like 8 packs of sleeves plus a nice like dark attribute dice. So shout out to Sleeve Chief, man. I get a lot of, like, these are Sleeve Chief right here. A lot of people ask me, so I'm hoping I can do more projects with them in the future, because I want to show off their product. It's very much just like some of the best product out there, and I will sim for Sleeve Chief all day, every day. So, Genroku is kind of nasty. Yeah. Oh, what's up, Yagi? How's it going, brother? Shout out to you, and appreciate you, brother, getting me the Asteria, my man. Do very much. Thank you. It was a pleasure meeting you, my man. Also, yeah, I was just rarely bumping my book of clips. So yeah, Genroku changes the dynamic against Branded with Tenpai, unfortunately. Tenpai used to be the buy. Like, me and Yuri Diaz used to joke about Tenpai being the 10 buy, because if you play against it 10 times, it's 10 buys. So like before Genroku changes the dynamic, and I have to put more respect on its name, because Genroku allows it to just see its like 2 to 3 card combos, which are difficult to play through if you have like board breakers. So I do think Genroku changes a lot. It also makes Stepelia way worse against Branded. Like, it makes Stepelia way worse. So definitely put some respect on the Tenpai deck. Just be prepared for it, because if they shifter and then like hand trap you, it can be pretty bad. So just know your anti-shifter lines. It's one of the biggest things. I just wasn't prepared with my main deck for Tenpai. If I knew there was gonna be that many Tenpai, I would not have main decked Molchami and Dark Ruler in the same deck. That's for sure. So that was one of my biggest just f-ups right there. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna. All right, Tenpai, you think a Psycho Lady will stop me? How's it going, Card Limits? Nice to see you. Lucas, good afternoon. Purely Purist yugioh. Hiya, I'm building Bestial Branded Thunder Dragon. How's that going? I guess you took a break from the cats. I really do like Branded Thunder Dragon. It's very good to play against Shifter. I don't think Thunder Dragon Branded would have been a bad call for the NAWCQ. I'm not gonna lie. I think there, with how much Shifter I saw, for sure. All right, so let's get into this deck profile, guys. Y'all want to see the goo. He got the Asteria outside the venue. Come on. Maxi, check your Discord. I sent you a message. I will when I can. Branded Max is so much money. Yeah, exactly. Like, we're actually getting there, though. I just need one Starlight Quem. Technically, I need Starlight Brand Fusions, but I like my European ultis with the nice foiling. And that's it. Like, I have ulti Allure Darknesses. I need to get, I guess, like 2 more QCR Dark Rulers. But, you know, we're basically there. So, Braxton, will there be a remote duel anytime soon? Yes, there will be one, most likely. I want to say today's Friday. So, if Sunday doesn't work, it's going to be Monday for sure, Braxton. So I can put you in if you'd like. The ninjas on crack, and that's low-key made me want to run a small hand trap package in the main. Did you see my deck profile? I did deck profile someone who got 69th at Nats, just basically bubbled out, and he ran almost 15 hand traps and Branded in the main deck, and it worked out for him, he said. Yo, the token. Yeah, the token is goated, honestly. Wherever I just put it. Okay. Yeah, I gotta put my token right here because these are the boys. This is an event I'll never forget. Even though I didn't do very well, it was very much a pleasure just meeting everybody and everyone who was a part of it. Yagi, I felt that stereo was kind of hard to fit in a 50 card list. Yeah, that's fair. It definitely is harder to fit in a 50 card list, Yagi. I would only recommend Asteria really for the 60 card list unless you really know what you're doing with Asteria, because I think Asteria really generates advantage out of nothing. A lot of people say you go neg, which you don't if you know the combo lines. So I'm hoping we could go over some combo lines on stream here so you guys get more familiarized with Asteria. What is your rarest card, says Lori967? I would say my Adidas Dark Magician is most likely my rarest card. If not, it would probably be my Mirror Jade, because Mirror Jade alone, Starlight is about a $360 card. This is probably my most expensive single card. If you're talking about my rarest card, it's definitely the Adidas Dark Magician, I'd probably say, but it is a little less expensive, so that's something to consider. I'm gonna catch up on the chats and then we'll get to the deck profile. Hey, dude, finally caught you live. Love the content. Appreciate you, bro. I've been testing Evenly Omega. It absolutely is nice. Let's go. Would you put the Winged Dragon Raw Sphere mode inside? Yeah, I saw Marat put it in the side. I did one of the deck profiles for Marat, and it's a very spicy tech. He said he never saw it, but it's very good theory to just clear a whole Fiendsmith board. But it takes away your normal summon, so obviously you have to like kind of choose your battles on that one. Yagi, I randomly saw it 2 in the morning. Yeah, I saw that, Yagi. You really are the GOAT. I'm glad I didn't miss you. Appreciate you, bro. Even though I didn't see Asteria that day, it was still in my deck and I got really nice on it. After seeing my favorite meme card top. Oh, what's up, GZ1K? How you doing? Hey, you got the CC package? Let's go. Yes, I did. So we will be having a Sleeve Chief sleeve review. I'm gonna compare the Sleeve Chief new sleeves with all like pack sleeves. Team Sam sleeves. I'm gonna compare it with Imperium sleeves because these are smooth sleeves. These are all smooth sleeves. So they're their new they're like player's choice where the backing is gloss. So they look really nice. They look really nicely made. Good heft to them. So I have high hopes in these. I really do. So we'll compare them against like the competitors and we'll make a judgment, and you guys can also make a judgment on like what the better sleeves are. I always do unbiased reviews, even though I do simp for Sleeve Chief. They make great products. Hamza, can you roast my deck after the profile, please? Been away for a while. Would love to appreciate some tips. If you guys want me to roast Decklist, I will roast Decklist, but we gotta get to like here. Let's see how many likes are we at. We're gonna set a like goal. If you guys want me to roast Decklist, we're at 11 likes right now. If we hit 30 likes on the stream, we will roast Decklist after the deck profile and combos. The ninja's on crack. Okay, 50 hand traps in main is crazy. Yeah, exactly, but it's really cool. Is Super Poly worth it again? I wouldn't say so, but it's pretty good if you have Lost on the board. If you're a really technical player with Brand, I think you can get along with it. Or kind of deal with the Super Poly negatives. Edward Shum, how's it going, bro? Yo, Shum, my boy, I love you, my man. Appreciate you. My Mexican mini-me. Honestly, like I said, guys, trip I will never forget. It was a pleasure going with you guys. That's one of the best things about Yu-Gi-Oh, guys. I highly recommend, like, get a group of friends. If you don't have a group of friends, go meet some people, join the community. You know, we have a great community going here in the Discord down below in my Discord. But that's the thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! It's very social. It's very a social game, and it gets a lot better when you have like people to go to events with and stuff like that. It took me a while to get like a travel group, and now I feel very lucky that I do have one. But you know, that's why I do recommend for people, like, if you aren't getting what you want out of Yu-Gi-Oh! And you just haven't tried traveling with friends, I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Traveling, that's one of the best parts about the game. It's like a mini vacation that you get to go play your favorite game with all your friends with, so it's very cool. Taste Code Talker, how's it going, brother? Tales of Ecclesia Goat in the chat. Sphere Mode Cooks, let's go. Yeah, have you tested out at all? I saw that you did post the replay before. Maybe you can check out on stream. How you doing? How you doing? Card limits, I used it before, it was cool. Yes, you did, card limits. Yes, you did. You being the god master around these parts. Watch my replay in the Discord. Yep, we'll watch it right after the deck profile. Yep, I'd be 100% down to remote duel on Sunday or Monday, wherever works best for you. It's gonna likely be Monday, so I can just like do it all in once. Mighty Gamble about to go locals. My locals is very Tenpai heavy, Tenpai cash actually, and Sprite, so I'm gonna be returning Dragoon to the deck for the first time in months. Yeah, I actually think Dragoon is very good right now, guys. I was about to put Dragoon in this deck list. I ain't gonna lie. I think Dragoon's very good in a context with not a lot of people running Zealantis. So yeah, let's talk about this list, guys. So we're playing Branded Despia. We chose to take it to Nats. I didn't do very well at Nats this year with the list, unfortunately. Like I mentioned before, what I did primarily to test for this event was to kind of play against the best Fiendsmith players out there. Like I tested on DB extensively. I tested with people who topped events with before, who I would trust to be very good with Fiendsmith, and people who are my best testing partners. So I was ready for the Fiendsmith matchup. However, I don't think I was exactly ready for just the fact that it was still a wide open meta, guys. It was 100% a wide open meta. So because it was the first weekend of the meta. I think that's the thing. When you go into a new event, and it's the first weekend of that event, there's some considerations you have to take into account. Like, not everyone's going to be on the most optimal build. Not everybody is going to be on Fiendsmith. Like, you still saw a lot of, because in reality, a lot of people ended up playing Tenpai for the event, which is it can be an easy matchup for us, but it could also be a very tough matchup for us, just depending on how things go. So okay, we're at 58 right now. I do have to just double check what we are missing, hilariously enough. Did someone just donate? Appreciate you, Corey. Thanks for all the help in the Discord. Keep up the great work. Best Chancellor in the game. Oh, I appreciate it, Corey. Yeah, guys, if you want to be, I'm glad I could help out. Of course, you do. If you support the channel like Corey, become a channel member, you get access to the Metagames GX coaching group chat, where I'm there very often. Some days I'm not able to because I'm on an event or something, but not when it's not a week of an event. I'm usually in that chat just helping out you guys as much as I can. And I'm trying to get much more in depth with just trying to be a part of the community. So inside and out of my Discord. So I'm trying to help everybody, and that's just one of the best ways to get a hold of me and to ask for personal help, coaching on your deck list, on your plays, on your replays. You just sign up for $5 a month and you get access to the coaching group chat. We all help each other there. There's great duelists there. It's not just me, but I do want to say very willing to help. I'm glad that I've been able to help Corey. So hope you're having a great day. Thank you for the $5. Very much do appreciate the support, guys. Keeps the channel going. It keeps, doing what I'm doing here. I want to keep doing these live streams, honestly, weekly. They're very much one of my favorite parts about YouTube. So, we're missing a Mercurier, and then we are missing the Foolish Burial. Got it. So now I know what we're missing. La-di-da-di-da. Okay, so Foolish Burial we are missing, which I just had. This is yeah, here we go. Shout out to my QCR Foolish. We do have the Lart Foolish, but it is in my binder. I feel like that's more of a collector piece, the Lart Foolish. So, okay. So now we have our 60 card deck list. So why am I showing you guys the updated Nats deck list? Because I'm not going to show you guys a deck list I went X3 with. I feel like that's not very productive, especially if I want this to be re-uploaded to the channel. I want to show you guys like my mindset of what I did wrong and then where I went to change it with the event. Because what I saw at the event, like I said, was a lot more of a jungle format. I saw a lot more people not making Disarray. I saw a lot of people not even playing Fiendsmith. I saw there was a lot of different decks. Now, you could have been like that guy in the Tenpai Facebook group who played 9 out of 9 Fiendsmith day one. That just seems like a rare occurrence. So I do want to just say, for this type of event, Euros might be a bit different, but I still think that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a bit of a wide open game where the top level of the game, the power level, is still relative to the tier 2 decks. So like, even if Fiendsmith is so broken, you can still bring Labyrinth, you can still bring Voiceless, and there were so many of those decks at X3 at that event. That doesn't mean they were bad, they were just getting filtered out at the top. So I think that Branded was a great play. I do think I prepared too much for the Fiendsmith matchup because Branded, yeah, you need 2 board breakers to break the disarray board, but the thing is, Snake Eye doesn't always have a way to chain disarray to Dark Ruler. That's the thing. They need something like Blacko or like Wanted to be able to chain to Dark Ruler, to chain disarray to negate the Dark Ruler. So a lot of the time, the Dark Ruler just gets you through to the Snake Eye player. A lot of the time, evenly matched. I saw a lot of people not even ending on Omni negates. So it's like, I definitely shouldn't have played it as safe. Also, Molchummy now has completely taken over the meta. When Molchummy is in the meta, it filters out Droll and Lockbird. It basically power crept Droll and Lockbird. That might be a hot take, but Molchummy power crept Droll and Lockbird. You have to choose between those 2 hand traps. And which one am I choosing? The one that draws me a card or the one that makes me go neg? You guys can decide. I'll give you 5 seconds, because if you chose Molchummy, you are correct. Because Droll, yes, it's great, but right now the 2 top decks play through Droll on most of their 2-card combos. Most of them. So basically every single one of their 2-card combos. Yubel makes a Phantom and then blows you out of your Droll, makes it useless. Snake Eye can just summon from their deck, and both decks can use things like Necroquip Princess and M7 to not even need their search. A lot of the time, they're just specking from the deck, contact fusing, or just manipulating cards in the graveyard with Promethea Princess or Flamebird or the Yubel cards. And Unchained just sets out of deck for the Yubel stuff. So Droll, actually, contrary to popular belief, is not very good this format. And I also took out Allure of Darknesses out of the main deck before Nats because I thought Droll would be more prevalent. I was right. Droll was very prevalent for my friends. I did not see it. So for my use case, I think running Allure would have been fine. However, I think at the end of the day now, people have seen Molchummy be in the top cut of NAWCQ and do very well. We saw Molchummy go from a $30 to a $60 card after Nats. So I think it might have gone down now. However, the point stands where Molchummy is a better card than Droll and Lockbird, and you aren't going to run both because they conflict with each other. Droll says you can't draw cards. Molchummy says you draw cards. So you have to choose whichever one. I think Molchummy is a lot healthier for the game, and I think that Molchummy is also a better card. So I think that we can be this is a long way to say you can disrespect Droll and brand it again, which we were doing last format. So run Potted Desires, run Allure of Darkness, run Patchwork if you even want to, which I think Patchwork is actually a very good option that we should consider. I did test it a lot if you guys were watching my DB replays I have on the channel, where Patchwork was amazing into Fiendsmith because you chain block the Appaloosa with a Guardian Chimera. And then like a Edgem chain, and your opponent can't negate the Chimera, and you blow them out with an untargetable Chimera. So I think that there's lots of options for Branded. It's very good, this format. To answer the stream's question, is Branded good or not, this format? Of course. We have Gimmick Puppet, we have Sanctifier, we have Triple Mirror Jade, and we have 3 branded fusions. We have everything that we need to do well. We just have to build the deck correctly. I think the tough point was really forecasting the meta and what people would be ending on and how much Fiendsmith it would be truly tier 0. If you look at the breakdown, it was not tier 0. It was like 40% Snake Eye, but like, which is still probably tier 0, but it's not 70% like tier. So guys, that means there's a lot of room for other decks to play. I'm going to grab a drink super quickly. Leave me down a question down below, and then we're going to get into the deck profile. My throat's really dry. All right. Thank you for waiting. Rolling Stun was kind of funny. All right, let's get into this deck list, guys. 60 card deck list. And so, like I mentioned, the main changes from my deck list were I took out Molchummies and I put in Allure of Darknesses. And then I changed around and swapped out, did a little bit of a different board breaking package. Because I think there's a very important board breakers for this format. I think that we're mostly a board breaker deck. I'm not on hand traps in the main, but I'm going to show you guys what you guys need to be on the side. Because in the side deck, You guys need to play towards this meta. It's a whole new meta, guys. You guys will roast my side deck if it was any other side deck. So so definitely keep watching until. All right, so say hi to YouTube, everybody. 3 Fallen of Albaz. He's the boy. We have to run 3 in a 60-card build with Desires. 3 Aluber. Some people cut down to 2. I think 3. It's still your best 1-card starter in the game besides Branded Fusion. So I think you still have to run 3 in my opinion. That's probably not too controversial. And then we have maybe more of a controversial thing. 2 Cartesias. Shout out to my new Starlights. Really do appreciate Renee for hooking these up. And then 2 Quem. So I do have to say 3 Cartesias may be the most controversial, or 2 Cartesias the most controversial thing here. A lot of people do like the 3 Cartesia right now, especially in a 40-card build, or sorry, a 60-card build. However, I think that when going second this format against Fiendsmith, you have to not have a hand of monsters. So it was really either 2 Aluber or 3 Cartesia, or 2 Cartesia, 3 Aluber. And I chose with 2 Cartesia, 3 Aluber because I think Aluber is still at the end of the day one of your best grind game pieces. And a lot of the time, I just don't miss the second Cartesia. As long as I don't banish both Cartesias off of Desires, I never regret my decision to have 2 Cartesias in my deck. And in the very rare scenario where I banish the 2 off of Desires, it's still just fine. You can play without Cartesia. So at the moment, I do think that 2 is very good. So it's definitely something to consider to run 2 over just the 3. So you can because you still want to play around Valor in Permash, or Mourner rather, because it's still a hand trap format. Don't get me wrong. It's still a hand trap format. People are not on board breakers as much as one might have projected. But so you still have to run Cartesia. So 2 is still correct, obviously. And 2 Quem you need to run because of Nibiru is the best hand trap right now. So this card just plays through Nibiru. I've actually debated on maining Nib. I think maining Nib would be a pretty good play in this deck, to be honest. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, 3 Cartesia might be the upgrade after this. But I do only have 2 Starlight Cartesias. So it started as me just kind of like, oh, I'm going to play 2 because I only have 2. And I've been testing with it on DB. And trust me, guys, I've been testing with this list on DB. It's very good. I would say that the 3rd doesn't come up enough. All right, so for the other cards, 1 Spring Ends Kit. It's our best High Spirits target, so we run it. And of course, it allows us to bridge into Brand Fusion. We are on a High Spirits build, so I think you need to run Spring Ends Kit. It allows you to basically get Branded Fusion off of the High Spirits. You can't search a Luber, so that's why you have to run it. It's also very good for recycling Retribution. And then 1 Despian Tragedy. And then 2 Mercurier. This is the second Mercurier. We're just proxying it. I do think that 2 Mercurier, we are on Allura Darkness, so we have to run either 1 and 2 or 2 and 1. I think 2 Mercurier is way better, though, because Mercurier gets you way more cards. It gets you Kit, which is basically an Aluber, or it can get you Shrouded or Cartesia, so it's way better of a card. Also, you want to banish one and then also search the other off of Branded Loss, so I do think that that is something that we have to consider when deck building around that. I think Tragedy is way less quality than Mercurier, and you only need Tragedy to search once, and then on the crackback to set Branded Spell or Trap card to win. Also, it's nice to kind of recycle Branded Loss right now, because Branded Loss is very important right now, guys, if you haven't noticed. Definitely keep Branded Loss in rotation. 3 Shrouded Dragon, super rare, obviously. We love Shrouded. I think Marat even said this in his deck profile. Like, why did we ever main this at anything less than 3? It is a +1 that's a name that gets us any piece we need, gets us Albaz or a spell and trap card in graveyard, plus a draw. And it's a huge body. You can fuse off for Alba if you want even. It's just a very versatile card and completely justifies its role at 3. Especially in a build where I'm trying to max out on Dragons and Darks. I think this is very important to max out on 3 because we are maxing out on Allure and High Spirits. So here comes the goo, a Stellar of the White Forest, formerly known as Asteria. So this is the new addition to the deck, and if you guys have watched my combo video, you are already familiar of Asteria's game. Essentially, Asteria's here to facilitate 1-card combos with Branded Fusion and also facilitate other combos, because Hysteria plus basically any other branded extender is full combo. So she fits into our combo lines extraordinarily well. But you might ask, how do we get access to her? Well, there's a lovely card called Branded Fusion, where you can go send Albaz, send Hysteria, and you are off to the races. You can still do a Lubellion line with Hysteria plus Branded Fusion, but you get more on top of that. So Hysteria just adds to your lines a lot more. Now, you might say you need a spell or trap card in hand. Well, it's very easy to be able to search out one to discard. Also, you have things like Retribution, High Spirits, and Blazing Branded King, which repay for Asteria's discard on each other's turns. But what does Asteria do? Basically, you can summon one spell or trap card from your hand or field to the graveyard to special summon one light tuner from your deck, and one light spellcaster tuner. So essentially, it can special summon out Quem or Cartesia, which is very cool, right? Like, we don't have a main deck fusion deployment for Quem. So I think Asteria allows her to finally get us access to Quem outside of Titaniclad and Branded Opening, which is really nice. So I mean, obviously there is Branded Opening, but I think what's nice is she goes with our combo lines. You can go Branded Fusion, send a Stellar, and be able to play from there. She also triggers her second effect to spec from graveyard off of basically any monster that discards a spell or trap card for cost, or sends a spell or trap card for cost to activate their effect. So things are like that would be Albion the Shrouded Dragon when you send for cost on the spell or trap card. This actually triggers a Stellar. So this is a very free way to get out a Stellar from the graveyard, is by using Albion the Shrouded Dragon. But you do have other options like Albaz, obviously, when you discard a spell or trap card to use its effect. This probably isn't the best way, but the much more common way at that point would be discarding off of a Lubellion, because this does discard for cost. You could just discard a spell or trap. This goes through all your normal combo lines, so this is how you can get a Stellar out through just sending off a Branded Fusion. Just go Lubellion pitch, go a Stellar effect, and then go a Stellar effect if you have another spell and trap card in hand, which is probably true because remember, guys, you're running a lot of board breakers, so you're able to just pitch your useless board breakers going first to get out to a Stellar, or obviously you can really just cheese it by using things like Shrouded Dragon so that you aren't losing advantage. So, yeah, no, overall, I would say that a Stellar is a card that, should you run it in Branded? Is it necessary? Is it mandatory? No. But I think it's one of the most powerful one-of slots in your deck. At the end of the day, this still is full combo. If you normal summon a Stellar, summon out Cartesia, and then just go to the races. So I think that the fact is it can keep recurring itself, giving you free fusion fodder. But the most important part is really just being able to go like Branded and High Spirits, pitch a Stellar, search Shrouded, then go Shrouded effect, summon out a Stellar, pitch out another card, and then you get full combo. So like this card literally combos with every single branded card in the whole deck. It's like opening plus a Stellar goes nuts, because then you go like go out to Quem, then go Shrouded Dragon. Like, it very much does fit into our combo lines, and I think it's worth the one-of slot in our deck. You guys should try it. It also makes your one-card Branded Fusion a lot better, so it's definitely something to consider with that reason, because normally one-card Branded Fusion loses to one imperm, but this does not. So, very nice. To try to get to your gimmick lock, rather. So, what are the other really good things that we could be doing this format? Because I think that overall, we have I think Jeff Jones said the best, but Bystials are currently the best hand traps in the game. They are the most important non-engine in the game right now. So with that being said, I think I've designed this post-Nats ban or deck list to play around that. This is why I did main at Nats, to be fair. I think that maining the Magnamut plus 3 Saronir is actually quite correct right now, because it allows you to always have a play on your opponent's turn. It's really good when you banish a level 6 when they go into their Fiendsmith engine. So, and it's also very good against Yubel because all their monsters are dark, so you can obviously just snipe like something like the Yama or something like, if they don't have a negate at that point, or something before that in order to stop their combos. It's a lot more impactful against Fiendsmith Snake Eye, though, because on the Lacrimosa, which they tend to make in their beginning of their combo, unlike Yubel, is a monster that special summons out a level 6, so you're obviously able to just go Saronir, banish the 6 they target, or you could go you know, when they go Necroquip Princess and they go Fiendsmith Effect Engraver to special summon, you can go Saronir, banish the Engraver, because it does spin back for cost. So I think that these cards are amazing. Also, Saronir just being a combo piece is very important since it pitches any branded spell or trap card. So I think it's the best Bestial to run. Magnuma is definitely the best Bestial, though. This card searches any card in our deck. Essentially, it gets us Elbaz, it gets us Shrouded Dragon, so which are two of our best just cards. So I think that Magnum well warrants the one of in the main, frankly. So that's why we do run it. It's very powerful to see this. I love, if I see this going second, I'm just big chilling. Like having two banishes against a Fiendsmith deck is very big. It turns off their Fiendsmith engine. If you're able to turn off the opponent's Fiendsmith engine, then you're able to play, because the biggest issue this format for branded is the Fiendsmith engine, because if they make Desiree, you are cooked. If they make Beatrice FTK with blue tier, you are cooked, because then they will go into D barrier or even DDG, different dimension ground, and basically floodgate you turn 0. So I think that having the Bestials are very important in order to stop the FTK and also the Desiree play. That's what they basically say. These cards say, I guarantee myself to not get FTK'd or Desiree'd. Unless they just have full combo, which is very rare. They have to have like a third Fiendsmith at that point. So, and then the One Love Lubellion, obviously, to just search everybody. Sometimes I want to run 2 because I do run Desires, but it's just impossible to run this card at 2 in a Apo format. So until Apo goes, this is going to stay at 1. But these cards are amazing. I've actually debated on... I've tested with a Baldrake on top of these guys, but this is kind of the ratio I'm safe with right now. Also, what's up, Big Slaps? How's it going, Big Slaps, in the chat? I love how it's like a 4th fusion deployment, or Quem cart specifically. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's why I don't need the 3rd cart as well, because I'm running the Asteria, guys. It's basically my 3rd cart, right? It's like my 3rd Quem. It's a very good bridge into everything. So, and then the last monster, 1 Gimmick Puppet Nightmare. So let's pour the shots out, guys, for Gimmick Puppet on Master Duel, right? So yeah, rest in peace the boy on Master Duel. Is that gonna happen here in in the TCG? Probably eventually. I'd say that they like to do Master Duel as a test run, but guys, remember, how long ago was Calamity banned in Master Duel? And it hasn't been banned in the TCG? Until Calamity gets banned, I don't see you know, Puppet, anything happening to Puppet, so I think we're fine, unless the next ban list in August definitely just nukes a lot, which I don't think is gonna happen, but we'll see. I think that for now, Gimmick Puppet's obviously the best option for multitude of reasons. You can send off a Grand Guignol. It's also just the best lingering effect for just floodgating your opponent. So I think that overall, wait, what happened? Oh, here's my other branded fusion. Overall, you should run it until it's bad, essentially. I don't think they're gonna ban Sanctifier now, guys. I think they'll ban this and Ido, and then we'll either be maining Art Jet, or we can main Winda with Schism. I actually kind of like that a little bit more, though. Any lucking that Quem yet, says Jake the Mountain Man? Nope. I gotta get a second Starlight Quem, brother. If you know anybody, let me know. But yeah, no, Gimmick Puppet, I think... I get a lot of comments like, oh, this card's toxic. It's like, you gotta run what you gotta run. I'm not gonna give myself to not hurt someone's feelings when it's a legal play in Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know. I just like... I don't really have a whole lot of sympathy for the arguments where it's like, oh, but you're just being toxic with your Floodgate. It's like every other deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! And modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Currently does something way more broken than this, with the blue tier FTK, or just making a board that says you can't play the game with Desiree, like Apo, plus like Verudris and things like this. So I think that overall, Gimmick Puppet's very weak in terms of that. Like, we only have a 1-card way to Gimmick Lock, and that's Branded Fusion. So I think that overall, when everybody has like 1-card ways to get to blue tier FTK, this is something that doesn't need to be high on the priority list for Branded. But if this gets banned, I think Branded is almost just as good, frankly. It's just going to be a lot more skillful. If Sanctifier gets banned, I think it does take a hit. But yeah, we'll see what happens. 3 Branded Fusion. It's the best card in the deck. Shout out to... I was able to get 1 more 4 in Branded Fusion. You can't quite see the spiraling since it is on my sleeve. That's but yeah, if I take it out, there we go. Look at that spiraling. Very good. So yeah, that's why I also gotta get different sleeves than these Ultra Pros, because they don't show off the hollow foiling. But the nice part is it doesn't glare, so it's something I have to consider. So 3 branded fusion, 1 branded lost. It's the best. It's the second best branded card, so that's why I bumped it up. Like this card goes after branded fusion, man. If they ban this card, it might be a bigger hit than Sanctifier, frankly. And it's amazing how many judge calls I still get on this in like high rated DB or just like at tournaments. It's crazy, man. They need to watch my branded lost explained video. Two branded red, I've gone back and forth, but I'm running Paw of Desires, so I think that you need to run 2 at Paw of Desires. If you're not running Desires, I think you can actually run 1 just fine. But it is really nice to be able to search 1 in your end phase, use it, and then set the other sometimes. So just to like, extra combo essentially. It's the best crack pack in the game though, being able to go into Guardian Chimera. And then 3 branded high spirits. So yeah, this is the goo for this list. I'm running 3 high spirits with the 5 bestials, plus the shrouded dragons, plus the albazes. So we're always, and then the asterias and the light spellcasters. So this is always live essentially. It's the best extender in our deck because it sets up our graveyard to play through Ash. It's also an Ash bait. If they Ash this and you have Brand Fusion, you're just chilling. But if they Ash this, you don't have Brand Fusion, you're usually not. But a lot of people just won't even Ash this. So that's why it's usually pretty free in our deck to be able to play through hand traps. Also searches us a card while setting up our graveyard. So it gets us any combo piece in our deck. So I think it's very well worth that 3, even though it's a once per turn, because you can obviously just recur it in the end phase and start generating advantage. I think running 3 is important in a deck like this so I can unbrick my hands, because I'm running things like Allure of Darkness and Desires, which allow me to basically turbo through my deck. So like we can talk about all of these at the same time, because we're running 60 cards, so you need like ways to unbrick your hand while also getting to your combo pieces. So that's like what all of these do. I think that high spirits, this could have been like Nadir Servant, this could have been like 3 fusion deployment. I just think that this plays around Droll and Lockbird the best. So and especially D-Shifter, and these play around D-Shifter already. So, and D-Shifter I think is much more of an issue for our deck than Droll right now. So I think that because if you get D-Shifter versus Ritual Beast, it's basically game over if they go if they're able to establish Protos. So it's very important to have this in game 1, especially like for just like side deck like D-Shifters and stuff like this. You just chain to D-Shifter, you chain to Droll, and you're just still playing the game. So very important. And if you chain this to Droll, you probably aren't losing to Droll in that hand anyway, so you can just like save this for the Droll essentially to play to extra extend. You can like start with these guys, which I usually do. I always start with Paw of Desires and then just play with what I get banished. It's very rare that it only sucks if you banish 3 Albaz or 3 branded fusion, but you can still play the game, obviously. You just definitely get kneecapped, but I think it's still worth it because the +1, it eats the Ash too. And also, like, I think the name of the game against the Fiendsmith decks is to kind of like establish a hand that's like +2 to 3 cards. So if you have like, if you start your turn with 8 to 9 cards in hand, which you can do with these cards, you're basically breaking any board. It doesn't matter what kind of Fiendsmith board it is. So definitely that's why I'm still on these. And with Chummy being less prevalent, that's why I think I was able to go back to Allure. I was running Desires at Nats. I ran only 2 of these at Nats, but in retrospect, I think maxing out on the Bestials and running this is like the play. So that's just kind of where what I got to. Card limits, I had to put dual an opponent's flu deck entirely in German, so rulings came up and it was annoying. Yeah, I mean that's what happens at events with my cards. I won't lie, it can be annoying. I just love foreign cards, so you gotta do what you gotta do. 3 openings, obviously. And then for the extra extenders, 3 fusion deployment, basically another branded card. And then Called by the Grave, plus Foolish, plus Gold Sark, because they're just like some of the best one-of extenders in our deck. This could honestly go for a Bestial. This could be like a Baldrake, honestly, the Foolish. I think Foolish is like the weakest spell. Called by, I think you still need. I wasn't running called by in the main at Nats, and that was a huge mistake. So guys, don't be like me. Main deck called by this format. You just need it. There's so many hand traps still. It's still a hand trap format, even though it sucks going second. I think you still need it. Even if they have an Ash going second, it's pretty okay. So, especially for the Princess, it's still pretty good. And then Gold Sark's just like an amazing extender, so that's why you run them. Yo, Luis Molina, how you doing? How you doing? Another branded goat in the chat. How you doing? Hope you had a nice trip home, my man. It was great meeting you and your team, brother. And then here we'll go into the board breakers. So we're running 3 Book of Eclipse, which we were not maining at Nats, and then 3 Dark Ruler No More, and then obviously the Triple Tactics package. So I think it was really important to have a board breaker you could search off of Thrust in this deck, while also being able to have cards that don't make you neg going first. So in my original list, these were Molchummies, and I think I also main Droplets. So I had about like 12 to 13 board breakers. That was like way too much essentially. So I think that overall, I took out the Droplets from my Nats list because Droplet, I would just like brick on Dark Ruler, Molchummy, Droplet, and my hands would lose to a single Imperm, which should never happen as a branded player. You have one of the best going first abilities in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh! So you shouldn't gimp that when your deck already has one of the best board breaking abilities in Yu-Gi-Oh! Excuse me, I had to take a drink of water. And so I kept the Dark Ruler because Dark Ruler versus Droplet is kind of the debate right now. I think that Dark Ruler is basically overtaking Droplet as a better card because Droplet requires you to go like discard 3 to 4 essentially cards to break a board, and at that point you only have 2 cards in hand. Yes, you can play into your opponent's board and then you can use cards on your board, but you're likely going neg still doing that. So I think that Dark Ruler makes it so it's a one and done. Yes, there are Disarray which plays around Dark Ruler, but you can obviously a lot of boards aren't even running unless it's Yubel. This is probably still going through. If it's Yubel, you do need a second board breaker, and that's why the Yubel matchup is much more difficult than the Snake Eye Fiend Smith matchup is for branded right now. So that's something to consider, but that's why we do have Book of Eclipse, which is very, very good against Yubel. A single one of these Disarray, and also you could it completely nukes their board essentially because then their Yubels aren't live. So I think Book of Eclipse is very good. And it's also very, very, very good going first. It's the best board breaker going first because if you're in a format with Imperm, with Veilers, with Mourners, having this in your main deck makes it so that you have a Called by the Grave for those cards. So if your opponent goes Imperm on your Aluber, like I was saying, I had a lot of hands where I had Dark Ruler, Molchummy, and Aluber. If one of those board breakers, including the Molchummy, was just a Book of Eclipse, I won that game because then I just dodged it and then I went 1-card Gimmick Lock. So that is something to consider, and that's why I put this in. And ever since then, it's been amazing in my testing. There's been so many times where I've dodged Imperm with this and also just broken a board. It's also very good still against Snake Eye to break a board because you can chain on their IP Mask Rainer Book of Eclipse, and then they have to link off their Appaloosa. So it's very good in that respect. You can obviously just force the battle phase very easily. They will use their IP. I don't think any player is just going to let them go battle phase. So yeah, guys. I do think that, and then obviously the Thrust, you gotta run them. Shout out to the reprint happening. I think that Talents is very good, but I think it's only good as a one of right now. I saw some people like running 2 to 3 of this. Like I think Nightfall was testing 2 or 3 for a moment. I just don't like it because a lot of the time this card just gets negated. So it being a once per turn and it doesn't just generate you the advantage you need it to. I think it's very much just worth it as a one of to hand rip. Also, there's so many hand traps, so a lot of the time the hand rip isn't that great. It's like, what are you ripping? A lot of the time this format, 50% of the time, if I'm hand ripping, I'm already losing the game. So, yeah. And Dark Ruler, like I said, these are like the best board breakers. I'm citing the Molchummies now. I'm not running Droplet. I think it's much more important to make sure you're going first is solid versus your going second most of the time. So as long as you have a good going first, with your board breakers, I think you should be fine. That's what I loved about Marat's list. That's why I think he did so well. It was really because I think he trusted his ability to play branded. He told me before the deck profile he didn't even test before the event, and I tested for like a couple weeks. I'm like, I did something wrong, man. This man just like trusted in his branded, with his instincts with branded, and did what he knew how to do best, resolve branded fusion, and it worked out for him. He didn't do anything special like I did with like maining Molt Chummies, which I think was a bit too much, so definitely something to consider. Also the retribution duplication, nothing to say there. I in previous and Canadian, I was running 2 duplication at Nats. I think this is fine with the high spirits at 3. It's either 2 high spirits and 2 duplication, or 3 high spirits, 1 duplication. I think high spirits is just a bit more of a flexible card. And Wild TV, how you doing? How you doing, bro? I'm actually testing Book of Moon instead of Eclipse because Ash, to be honest. I mean, if you're baiting the Ash, that's just fine. But I hope you're doing well, brother. And Wild TV, I'm on 2 talents right now. It's been working, to be honest. Hell yeah. I don't think 2's horrible. I just think 1 isn't the best. Or 3 isn't the best. What's Alakra? Are you talking about the... I'm not sure what you mean, mommy. Luis Molina, how do you like the Eclipse? I think Eclipse is amazing. It's been the best change I've made since Nats. Highly recommend you guys to be on Book of Eclipse. If you're running any board breakers and branded, you need to be on Book of Eclipse right now. It's great against every deck. I also, like, you guys will see a replay coming up where I just drew two Book of Eclipses. I bricked, and I set the 2 Book of Eclipses, and I won, because Book of Eclipse will turn skip your opponent most of the time. So, definitely a good card. Definitely a very, very, very good card. It reminds me of Super Poly and its usefulness. Jake the Mountain Man called by going second good against Yubel. Yes, exactly. It's good against Yubel because then you just get the spirit of Yubel. So that's a very good point, Jake the Mountain Man. I think that called by being bad going second is just kind of a myth. This format still just fine. Bless me. Card limits. That's why I took out Desire. It's hard to play if I lose both Numeron Calling or Monster Reborn or both Raws. Fair enough. Jake the Mountain Man, I play FTK at the moment, so I can't say anything about being toxic. That's so funny. Michael Stevens isn't every deck in this format attempting to be toxic. Yeah, exactly. So, like, I don't really have time for, like, arguments about, like, branded being too toxic. Mystery Pup ain't fair, but it's much easier to stop than what other decks pop out. Exactly. Like, just, have you never heard of Bestial? Like, a Bestial, I've heard, is pretty good against Puppet. Big slaps, both my Quems are Starlights. I should have bought SL cards before the price increase. Agreed. Mestre Duel gonna kill all the floodgates before Sanctifier, hopefully. And Luis Molina, all good. Prepared to go into a win at info case in my area. Most likely gonna go with branded. Hell yeah, bro. Send me your list. Would love to see what you're cooking up. Good luck at the post info case event. Droplet is as good as the deck that can plus equally or more or minus. Yeah. There's not a lot of decks that can do that. 40 cards more consistent as Power is King. I mean, it's definitely more consistent, but I think that Branded is a deck that does very well at higher deck counts. So I personally think the best deck count for Branded is 60, but I think 50 is just fine as well. So the main extra deck is 2 Mirror Jade because you need 2. It's just like he's the boy. You got it's nice to crash one, then have another to make. Obviously, you're trying to loop them, but sometimes it gets banished, and we're not an ad lib because ad lib's a brick. And then 2 Albion. We run 2 because 2 is just good. I've seen people run 1. I just think that 2 is just way better. It helps you in the grind game. It allows you to just like set up your graveyard a lot better on your opponent's turn. If you only have 1, how are you saying Branded and Red on your opponent's turn or something, or like searching like follow up? And then 1 Titanclad because you just need it for Rogue, and then also to get the Quem in the end phase. And then also it's nice for getting like Mirror Jade. This is how you use High Spirits as a board breaker because you can you always send Titanclad going second, so you can set up the Albaz in the graveyard to then fuse off in the end phase after you've broken your opponent's turn to further break your opponent's board in the end phase. 1 Alba Lenatus and 1 Rinbrum. Yeah, no, I still like Alba Lenatus. It's very good. You need it for Tenpai, but also it's very good just against random decks that have dragons, because if you're able to contact Fuse off, you're able to like really just play the game immediately. It also helps you combo a little bit if you need to like get a Sarnier to proc. Sometimes just having this card there to contact Fuse off with a Shrouded with like a Sarnier or something is very good. Also it's a Dark Dragon, so you can tribute over for Lubellion worst case. So it's also like still you can contact off Flameburge, so like I still don't recommend that. You're in a pretty bad spot if you're doing that, but I think overall it's really nice to like recycle all your resources. If you go Lubellion, make Alba, then recycle all your dragons, it's not bad. One Sanctifier, it's like the best it's the best card in the extra deck. And then one Rinbrum. Rinbrum's very good. Very good in this format to just have on your board. So yeah, but it's also just like one of the best interruption pieces in your graveyard, so Rinbrum is the boy. And then 2 Grand Wignall. Someone give me a second Starlight. Grand Wignall is the MVP, man. Best extra deck extender in our deck besides Mirror Jade. Sends wherever you need, essentially. And then gets us into, like, Quem. It's our way to play around Nibiru. Yeah. And then 1 Borreload, 1 Stepelia, 1 Quertus, and then 1 Guardian Chimera. Think you need these 2 guys for basically back row decks. I mean, Chimera is standard. I think this has become standard. I made this almost more than Mirror Jade at the event. So, yeah, no, I think that... And I've been making this very, very much. It's just one of the best cards in our deck. If you're going against any deck that Gimmick Puppet isn't good against, like Gimmick Puppet, FTK, or Labyrinth, this is the card to make. It's also very good against Tenpai to pop the field spell, so I think you need it for that. Chimera is just such a blowout. So yeah, we still run that. And then Despia and Quertus. It's either this or Lulu, but we aren't running Nadir. We could be on Nadir in the side, but I think overall Despia and Quertus gives you better matchup spread into Rogue. I think that Lulu's better against the top decks, to be fair though, but a lot of Rogue decks just can't play through this, so this will just save your butt a lot of times. It will win you free games. And Stepelia, which like Lulu won't. Lulu will like edge out games like over like a wide span of things, even though Lulu is better into top decks like I mentioned. But yeah, guys, make sure you leave a like on the video, guys. We got 52 viewers watching. If this stream hits 30 likes though, we will be roasting Decklist, and we're at 24 right now, so make sure to hit that up. Click the join button down below if you want to help support the channel, helps produce more content like this, guys. The only reason I'm here, that I'm able to do this, is because of your guys' support. We do have the Twitter down below, TCG Player affiliate link, but you can also click the join button to become a channel member, get all of my deck lists early, get access to the coaching group chat. Also, you get all your name at the end of all my videos. Also, you get to remote duel me, a bunch of great perks. You get emojis too to use in the chat, and you just get to help support the channel, make more great content going forward. Also, I do have coaching available in the tier above that for $30. So yeah, guys, make sure to check that out. And yeah, that was the extra deck. We will get into the side deck now, which is pretty spicy. We're gonna talk about Mulchummy, because Mulchummy, like I said, guys, is a card I mained at Nats. So I think the theory with Mulchummy, this was the goo, is that basically this is a pot agreed against most decks, which is true. So most of the time, this will just end up getting you into board breakers. This will make you go plus. This will let you get to that 7 to 8 card hand that you need to break a board. So I think that Mulchummy does pay for itself a lot of the time. A lot of decks, like all your opponent needs to do is normal, and then there's special once, and then it's +1. So it's very much worth it at that time. It plays around talents because you can just use this in draw phase. So it's very good. It's only shitty against Branded, I guess, because of Thrust, but no one else is really on Thrust. I think I made a mistake mating this, though, for sure. So I think that you guys, this should be a staple in our side deck. I'm saying this right now. Mulcharmy is the best card in my side deck ever since testing. If I saw it against the decks in my main deck, too, it would be great. I just think you have to make deck building concessions. This is not a high spirits target. The new Mulchummy is. So we can't quite use this as well. I think the new Mulchummy, Fuaros, which I made just a short about earlier. You can go check that out if you haven't. That one's a lot better because it's a high spirits target. This is not a high spirits target unless we run Will Kalos. But I do think that This card basically goes in against every deck, essentially, that's not branded. Being able to get +2 is very good. Also against Yubel, it usually draws you 3 to 5 cards. Against Snake Eye, it at most draws you 3 cards. A lot of the time it'll just draw you 2 because they'll just like, but then again, they have to gimp their combo if they want to give you less cards. So that's the really nice part about Mulcharmy, is that if your opponent has to play around it, they have to make their board weaker, or else they just give you all the tools you need to break their board. And like I said, if you get up to 8 cards in branded, you're breaking any board. So I think this card very much is the best side deck card in branded. I don't think you guys need to buy these if you aren't already interested in having them, though, because the new Mulcharmy will replace this. Will we run both Mulcharmies? Not in the main deck, so this would be in the side deck, and then the other Mulcharmy in the main deck. But start saving for the Mulcharmy Fubaros, because they're going to be main deck staples and branded, I'm telling you right now. And it's going to be like $100 secret rare, so rip our wallets. So then the other hand traps would be Nibiru and Imper. So yeah, we're running a hand trap package. Why do you need a hand trap package? Chris, didn't you say hand traps are worse than board breakers in the past? Didn't you roast people for running hand traps in branded in the past? Well, I think that branded is a deck that can be ran any sort of way, and like depending on the meta, you need to do what you gotta do. I think Nibiru and Imperm are way too good not to run, and same with Perulia. These cards stop Beatrice FTK. You need options in your sideboard. Your sideboard, this format has to be designed around stopping the FTK from Beatrice and stopping the end boards of Dire Eye, or really Yubel and Fiendsmith Snake Eye. And these cards all do this. You imperm the sequence, the Fiendsmith sequence, and they can't make Disarray, they can't make Beatrice. And it's a once per turn, so they're cooked. Like their whole combo's done. This is also very good against the Dark Beckoning Beast or Spirit Yubel on Yubel. So like at one point I was maining these, and you could yourself, honestly. And then 3 Mulcharmy, like I said, Mulcharmy just draws me into the hand traps, but I do prefer when I see hand or board breakers, I won't lie. So Mulcharmy are these, and then Nibiru is there because like you obviously nib right before they make the rank 6 essentially. So a lot of the time they won't have Apo. They will never have Apo as a Snake Eye player. So Nib is very live against Snake Eye right now, and it basically gets you to... It simplifies their board to where you can crack it very easily with branded, and that's what you're trying to do with the side deck. Just like, really just like soften up their board, which is very good. I was running Ash as well. I was running Ash over the side in my Nats list, and then mating these. I think I've gone through all the changes I've made from my Nats list now. I took out Ash, though, because Ash seemed to be the weakest out of these. Ash I would love to still have in my deck. It just plays into talents a bit much. And it's a bit much having 9 hand traps on top of Perulia. So, yeah, I think Ash is just... It was fine to cut for now. You guys saw the deck profile on my channel. The guy mained, like, about 15 hand traps. So hand traps are good in branded. Don't knock it. 3 evenly matched because we obviously still like board breakers in branded. So I think that 3 evenly is just fine. It's still the best board breaker in branded. It allows you to punish players who don't make the Omni Negate and basically just get a simple, very swift 2-0. There's a lot of boards that just won't make an Omni Negate, and even if the deck I know has an Omni Negate, it's very good to pair with like an interruption, like a Book of Eclipse, a Dark Ruler, or even if you're running Droplet. So I think evenly match is very good. Still, and is one of the highest performing. I mean, without Baron, without Savage, this card is just free. I mean, yes, there is Dire Eye, but not a lot. Like I said, not all the boards are making it, so I still think this is justified, in my opinion. I was thinking before, I mean, with Dire Eye being around, you could run Lightning Storms over this, plus a Feather Duster, so that's something to consider. If, like, if Disarray, Fiendsmith Disarray becomes much more popular, you could take these out and put in Feather Duster or Lightning Storm. And then the last 3 side deck cards are 2 Fusion Duplications and 1 Shadal Dragon. Shadal Dragon's great for just chain blocking and then getting rid of Skill Drain, which is still prevalent. A lot of the Snake Eye decks just side in Skill Drain, or just there is a lot of stun. It's also very good for just popping the Disarray, basically the Disarray equip. It's not bad. It's just a good option to have. And then 2 Fusion Duplication to help your going first. You obviously have better siding patterns going first like this. You can side in the duplications going first. Also, depending on the deck, you could always side in Nibiru and Imperms. It's probably just Nibiru, though. I think Nibiru is a way better going first card. You could just take out the Dark Rulers plus, I mean, you want to take out the Dark Rulers, and then it's not a clean side pattern. You would probably just do this so that you have things to play around, like Shifter, too. As you're going first side pattern, take out the Dark Rulers. And then the going second side pattern would probably be... Let's see, because you guys always ask for side patterns, so I wanted to do the side patterns quick. I mean, obviously, you could take out one Quem. I like taking out going second, honestly, because you don't ever need to Quem. Take out one Mercurier. You could take out... I mean, depending if it's a layer dark deck, you could always side out those. I would take out the Estella going second. Take out Brandon Red going second. You never need the second. Take out 2 to 3 Brandon High Spirits going second because they're not very good going second cards. You could take out Duplication. I think you need to keep one in going second, though. And then, like, you could take out Kit. And even if you need to, like, stuff like 1 Shrouded Dragon, 1 Opening, or even Allures. But, like, Allures, I hesitate to side out unless you're siding in the hand traps. These could go out if you're siding out hand traps because you want to see hand traps over Allure, obviously. So that's something to consider when you're putting in, like, Imperms and Nibs going second to take the Allures out specifically. But these are all very cuttable cards in the side pattern. What would you change the Mulchummy for if we don't have it? If you don't want to buy Mulchummies right now, I would say Phantasme almost does the same job. It's just a difficult card to replicate. I'd say Phantasme or Magical Spring. It's probably Magical Spring because Magical Spring will get you the draws. Yeah, definitely Magical Spring. Corey, I always wondered why a lot of cards are different language but not max rarity. Yeah, just like max rarity, but you know, we're getting there with the max or the different language, but we're getting there with the max rarity. How you feel about Stapelia? I feel like every time I make it, I'm losing. I agree, but I think you need it for Shifter. Stapelia is really just there for Shifter. If you don't have it under Shifter, you need to have like Light and Darkness Dragon, basically, Lord. But elsewise, this is like one of your best Shifter cards on top of Boral. So I like making these 2 guys under Shifter, and usually that's enough against Shifter decks. So that's why I can't personally cut it. Neth King and feels like the must-have for every deck. Queer sometimes doesn't do that much. Why not trying Lulu as an extra deck disruption? Bring it back with Grand Guignol. Oh, trust me, I've tried Lulu. I love that card. As you guys can see, I love Lulu. It's also my PFP. I just think that Querdis wins a lot more games than Lulu will ever win me. Vicious Stole. I'm currently working on White Force Bestial branded deck. Swapping out Brand Fusion for Branded White. Interesting. I'm still running Branded Fusion, my branded Whitewoods deck, which we will have out on the channel very soon, guys. Spirits for the Rin target. That's legit. Yeah, exactly. A big slabs with the new Mulcharmy. Hey, saw you at Nats. My teammate was the one who used branded hand trap. Hey, what's up, Kiki Manka? Oh, nice, bro. It was very nice meeting you and your team, bro. I love the branded hand trap version, guys. Make sure to check out that deck profile if you haven't already on the channel. I'm going to throw it up when I go use the bathroom in a minute. But it was such a unique take on branded that I highly recommend to watch if you haven't already. Why are you running different languages if they have max rarity in English? I don't know what you mean. Oh, it's because I just like how they look. I think foreign cards just have a better inking on them. Like, also foreign ultis have better foiling. So Lubellion Albion effect to fuse to Alba can still super poly? No. What I'm saying is you can fuse back your dragons from your bash or your graveyard. So you can fuse back like 6 dragons from your graveyard or bash to recycle everything. You think Grand Guignol is going to get a QCR in this, Yagi? I don't think so, but I think it probably will. But it was very nice meeting you, Kiki, and your rest of your team. Y'all are awesome. It was great chilling with y'all. All right, so we did hit 30 likes. I'm going to throw on this deck profile from the other day, and then we're going to roast some deck lists. So make sure to post your deck list down in my Discord. Exclamation point Discord down in the description if you want to post a screenshot of your Yu-Gi-Oh deck list. I will roast it. I will review it. If it's a good list, then obviously it won't be too much roasting, but definitely something to consider. All right, we're gonna swap this back over here. Thank you all for watching the deck profile. Very much do appreciate that. It's a fun little post-Nats deck profile. Hopefully I can go win a locals with it before. West Virginia's finest. How you doing? I'm gonna be getting thrust soon thanks to reprints. I hope we aren't putting Fiend Smith in our deck. No, we are not. All right, so let's go back. Very spicy. So I know I had to get your list because it's a tough. All right, so this is the deck profile. I got three deck profiles from that, so that was very cool. Shout out to the Extenders Gaming for and Luis Molina. That we were just big chilling for a bit there. Got to meet all the boys for Puerto Rico. The huge team, huge groups of teams from there, and killer players. And my man bubbled out basically with Brandon. The other man I met, Derek, also top 64 with tier limits. Very cool list, guys. You probably saw it has a lot of views. So yeah. Yeah, we're gonna watch this while I go use the bathroom, and then we are gonna review deck lists. So make sure to post your deck list down in the Discord if you want me to review it. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to leave a like on the stream if you haven't already. Click the join button. Join the Discord today. Help support the channel by clicking the join button, becoming a member. You can always super chat if you want to help support the channel. Very much do appreciate that, guys. Helps keep the channel going. Let's get into this. Hey, what's up, everybody? We're at Nats here this year, and who do we have with us? I want to know what you guys think of this deck list, because this is the most unique brand deck list I've seen in a minute.
Gonzalez from Puerto Rico. I went X3 on day 2, unfortunately.
And what did you play?
I played branded Despia with hand traps.
And that's very spicy. So I know I had to get your list because it's a tough format for branded, and you were the one who performed above all the other branded players, and you have a very spicy list. So
yeah, I played through hand traps all day. Even there was a guy that did me like 3 hand traps, and I still like puppet lock him. So. And
you were basically almost undefeated in Swiss yesterday, if not for a complete brick. So.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to feature the deck. But before we get into it, do you have any shout outs?
Yeah, I have shout outs to my team, Olympus Gaming. Shout outs to the guy that saved my headache, Cesar. And shout out to my friends in Puerto Rico.
And everybody, we'll be linking down below to their team. Please check them out. Great community, and you definitely go check out their stuff, guys. Please do. And how many in the main deck do you got?
42 cards.
42 cards. Let's see it then.
Here we have monsters. Let's start with 1 Visual Rebellion, 1 Saronir. This is just like for standard combos with High Spirits, Loss, etc. 1 Puppet Nightmare. I was debating with the guy that helped me build the deck, or debating about the deck, about running this inside deck and the Magnamut I have inside deck, put it in main deck. That way we are like playing better against the meta going second, because Magnamut sometimes helps you stop those meta decks. But last minute we decide to put Nightmare Puppet, the Puppet main deck and the Magnamut side deck, just in case I win the dice. And I had the good luck that in all my matches I only lost the dice like 2 or 3 times. So
it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out. Yeah, it worked out. Now the hand traps, I use 2 Veilers, 2 Nibiru's, 2 Drolls, 3 Ashes.
So would you like to explain what brought you to this hand trap package, and why are you running hand traps in branded, which is traditionally maybe something people don't do, but in how it worked out for you?
Yeah, besides these hand traps, I also use 3 impermanents, but I'm going to explain. This lineup, especially, we were usually playing 3 Nips and 3 Nibiru's, but what happened with that? There was some times that we drew multiple copies, and that is like devastating. We don't want that. That's why we substitute the third Nibiru and third Droll for the two Bailers. In that case, we have the chance to, when we drew like multiple hand traps, we run like the chance that we drew like different hand traps in combinations. For example, there was like this first Snake Eyes Finsmith that I won against, like in round 4, I think. That he starts, I drew Droll, then Veiler, he goes passes, and then I do OTK, and that's it with that matchup. Also, Nibiru, it's cool, but in all the rounds, I never activated. So
Maybe in hindsight, maybe.
yeah, in theory, he's good, but he never like I never drew it. So also, the reason because of this lineup is because of Molcharmy in the side deck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's spicy. Let's continue. For the branded Falling of Alba package of monsters, I use one Kit, one Quem, one Mercurier, one Shrouded Dragon, two Falling of Albas.
Did you say 2 Fallen of Albaz?
Yeah, two Falling of Albas.
Okay, so did
If
you
you-
ever miss
No.
the second Quem or the third
No,
Fallen of Albaz?
Now, if you manage your resources perfectly, you never are going to miss those cards. Yeah, never. Because, for example, when I'm doing like the combo with in end phase, because almost every time I play more in my end phase than in the main phase. I go like end phase, grab Branding Red, activate Branding Red, banish Falling of Albas and Albert, Lubellian, effect Lubellion, discard Cartesia, effect loss at Mercurier, and right there you have like 2 interruptions. 2 interruptions if you're not counting like
I won't lie. I don't like the 2 Albaz. I still think it's correct to run 3. But if you're gonna run 2 Albaz in any build, it's like 40. You know? Corey just pulled Engraver looking for a Stellar. Let's go. That's like a huge pull. That's still like an $80 card, right? Super chat, only opening packs watching your stream, Engraver. Hey man, that's the Mad Games GX difference. It's really glad to hear. Really glad to hear you pulled back your money. Congratulations.
sending Falling of Alba.
Be sure to post in the show off what your polls are overall in the Discord. Would
That
love to
way,
see it, Corey.
When you send
Congrats,
me,
bro.
when you have
Thank you for
Mary J,
for the $2 again. Thank you.
you send Rimbrum, and that's another interruption. That the deck is good if you play correctly and don't misplay. That's important to not misplay. 2 Cartesias, and lastly 3 Albers.
Nice.
Now, for the spells, I play 2 Nadirs.
How did you like the Nadirs?
The Nadirs, they were like standards, because there was some times that they go like, I activate Brand Diffusion, they like go Ash Blast, and I had like their server in my hand, and like, nah, I still got this. Activate Nadirs and Spring with Nadir grab Falling of Albas, Nadir end phase, Spring special Kid grab High Spirit, and Falling of Albas. You send Albion you send Branding Red, and technically you do the same as Mirror Jade combo technically with Kid, since she's like the dark body for the Lubellian, so it's pretty good, kinda. And that way you play around Ash, you play around Barrier and stuff like that.
So you definitely like the Nadir overall?
Yeah, it was good. I mean,
love Nadir, guys.
before Nadir,
It was really cool to see
debating
Nadir in here because I love
running
Nadir.
Crossout. But the problem with Crossout is just that in the testings, there was some times that I go like normal summon Aluber, they go like Baylor, I go like Crossout, and they go like Chain, Impermanent, like,
Oh.
I don't like this. I feel more safe playing Nadir for extension.
I also did want to ask you before we get too far. Did you overall like the playing hand traps in branded overall? You felt like it was a better call for this format.
It's just that I like the hand traps just because there's some chance that you are going to play against FTKs. You're going to play against those unbreakable boards of the meta, and board breakers in the main deck sometimes works, sometimes they're just like they also have hand traps.
Also, guys, we need more deck lists. So I'm gonna add the whole Discord to try to post their deck list.
So they will stop you with the hand traps. I choose the hand trap build because if you stop them from making the board, they're not stopping you next turn. So the one called by the grave, there was some games that Brand Diffusion Ash, I'm like Shane Colby game. It was one branding red.
Never missed the second.
No, never, because it's the same as the two falling of albas. If you manage your resources well, you're winning the game before you need your second branding red.
100%.
One high spirits, one loss, 3 opening, 3 deployments, and 3 brand diffusion.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's it for the spells. Now the 4 trap cards. 1 retribution and 3 impermanence. This card saved me quite a bit because there was
Imperm's so good right now.
I remember quite well, but it saved me. Impermanence.
And also you should post your deck list in the hashtag deck list part of the Discord. I'll show you guys right now. So right here, at deck lists, if you go main directory, go deck list, this is where you post your deck list. Preferably post your format in like a vertical format, kind of like this. DB deck lists work just as well. Did not miss like triple tactics thrust.
You'll see it. Now we have decided.
These guys were great, very fun. Very
we can
fun
do the
deck
extra deck
profiles
first
to
if
do.
that's okay. We can do the extra deck.
Sure.
All right. Yeah. So we'll get into
Yes,
deck
for
list
deck,
in a
I
second
have
since we
Lilith
still waiting for a few
over-
more. Oh, he
don't
does
even
run
know
the
the name
Lulu though, which is cool to see.
the other guy.
Where it is.
Yeah, I don't like that guy.
This is better that format because Tenpire or Snake Eye can just slot Queer this. This can actually do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a game against a Tenpai that he goes like Chundra effect. I go like okay, he summon Chundra. I go Rangunyo effect, summon Luluwa Lilith. Then I go Mirror Jade effect, send by cost, try to banish his card. It won't banish because it's unaffected. I go Luluwa Lilith effect, negate the fail spell, and then I go like he goes battle phase, and I go before battle phase. What's the name of the card? Rimbrung effect, summon Falling of Albas effect. Get it, all your dragons out of the way, because I'm going to summon all Balinators. So
Nice.
yeah, we have the Dragostapelia. This also saved me because there's this combo that you end with Lubellion and you go with Mirror Jade. These two, and you have like the. Let me search these cards here. You have these cards here, right? And I go like Cartesia effect.
I'm not gonna lie, if we don't have enough deck lists to roast, we might have to wait a bit. And I'll go to test hands and then like wait for them to queue up a bit. Because I still want to do some branded test hands.
Send these two to the graveyard. I go summon Dragostapelia. Then I go Quem effect, revive Mirror Jade, and you have like an extra Mirror Jade effect. So you have like an extra interruption in that line.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So definitely didn't regret running like this kind of package because you didn't feel like you needed the second
Yeah, exactly.
Mirror Jade. Yeah.
I almost every time I won before I need like the second copy of anything. So
Never missed it then.
no. Rimbram, OP.
Broken.
I love it. Alberinatus. I was debating if I was going to take this out and play Light and Darkness, Dragon Overlord, or that fusion that is like Spellcaster and Hyperion.
Oh yeah, Mysterion.
Mysterion, yeah. But I was thinking like, let's play it safe because also Alberinatus, besides being a good Tenpai target, is also like an extender for next turn because you can set it off of Mirror Jade and plus, or you can set it, you can send it off of High Spirits and also plus. You have one Guardian Chimera. I never summon it, but I have it just in case I play against stuns. I have the Titanic Lad, OP. There was a game against Kashtira that I won because I summoned this card and keep beating 37, 37, and 37, and that's
Wow,
it.
they gave out that.
Yeah. It was a beater. One sprint, extension, on the face with Nadir Servant. It's very good.
That's full combo.
Yeah, technically. 2 Albions. You need to play 2. Yeah, this is the
I
only.
agree with that. Like,
That's the only one they play 2. Yeah.
I've seen people run one of these and two Mirror Jade. I'm like, what are we doing?
No, you're crazy. Stop playing the deck. Stop playing. One Grand Guignol. I never missed the second one because, for example, in my round 12 match, he drone me, he imper me, and I still managed to do the puppet lock because I was like on my turn Cartesia effect, and he was like imperm. I was like, okay. I set from Albion the branding red. I still have like the branding red, yeah. He goes like draw face, standby face, main face, summon witch effect. I like sure. He sets the original. I go unrest, Cartesia effect, summon Grand Guignol. Grand Guignol chain 1, lost 2. I add the Mercurier. Grand Guignol set the puppet. Unrest. I told him unrest something. No. Branding red. Target Falling of Albas, and Grand Guignol. You summon the Sanctifier. And unrest of that too. You do the puppet lock, and that's what it won me the last match against Finsmith Snake Eyes, with 2 minutes remaining on the clock.
Love it.
Yeah. Also, I have the Masquerade.
In the main deck, you like
Yeah,
it?
I'm just switching over my
Yeah.
deck now to do some tough
There was a
stands.
game that I even summoned it just for extension.
And then we'll
for
just like
being
review the
extended.
deck lists that have come
Because
in.
I needed the Dark Body.
Yeah, how about this?
in
We'll just review the
field
deck lists that have come in, then
for
we'll do tough
the Summon Lubellian. I was like, summon.
stands. So I want to get the tough.
He was like, sure. I was N-Face, activate Branding Red, Vanish,
Pretty sure people have been posting a lot of deck
Vanish,
lists
Flying
just
of
from over
Alba,
the week
Summon
anyway.
Lubellian, and
That's so cool.
yeah.
actually.
But not even once I win for the
All right,
Piece of fact.
Yeah.
let's just
I
get
never
into
knew
it now.
because not
So I
even
won't keep you all
in-
waiting.
Well, just one match I did go to
All right.
to time, but he won against me. You will.
Alright, guys,
because
we're
of the
gonna
effect
roast
of
some deck
Burn
lists.
Me
Here,
1,200.
let me turn off this
That was the unfortunate
Throw
match
up
that
some
I use a
music,
lot of hand.
too. Alright, playlists, stream music. Let's do this. All right, so we do this segment every week or two where we roast your guys' deck lists, your Yu-Gi-Oh deck list. Try to show you guys a snapshot of the meta, since the Yu-Gi-Oh meta is always changing week to week, especially branded and other decks. So we want to show you guys off the text and also just like roast, give you guys ideas of what's good and what's not right now, and help you guys overall build your deck list. So first deck list here by GZ1K is this Whitewoods list, Whitewoods toy box. Very nice, very nice. I have to move it over a little bit. Alright, we're just gonna have to adjust because this is kind of in the way. Well, I guess this is still in the way, but it's not as in the way. Alright, so Whitewood's toy box. I think that... Oh, Whitewood's Witchcrafter toy box. Holy crap. See, the Witchcrafter cards are cool. They're like just extenders, right? So I'm assuming they work like, do they like, what is the synergy between them and the Whitewoods cards would be my wonder, because like I obviously the synergy is there with toy box. Like you send the toy box cards to the graveyard with the Whitewoods monsters and they just plus off each other. So very good, right? They all pitch spells for cost. Oh. So they all trigger Hysteria. That's interesting. Reframing is interesting because you can just search off Amritara, which you can make since they're all lights. I'm presuming be a little bit of an awkward one because you'd have to do Sylvan Rose. But 3 tactics. It's interesting, but you can also go into Dragoon, which is cool because you have the Muddy Mud Dragon, which I've been seeing a lot with the Whitewoods cards, because because Muddy Mud Dragon counts as any fusion substitute is basically its effect, and then Confuse. So it's a really cool way for synchro decks to bridge into a fusion deck. It's kind of like what we are going to definitely use in branded Whitewoods, in my opinion. It's just kind of free. Interesting list. I think maybe not enough non-engine to compete. That's the thing, only 3 tactics. It's going to have a really hard time going second, but still. Very cool list, nevertheless. And we always love to see you cooking. Mr. GZ1K. Alright, so now we have Dom's dueling book screenshot of Kashira Fiendsmith, apparently. Oh god, this is an abomination. So, 3 Ash, 3 Fenrir, 3 Rizart with 1 Ogre. Ogre is interesting in there. Plus 3 Unicorn, and then why is there a Boots? Why is there just a random Boots here? Is that to send off a Cherubini for like a Link extension? I assume not, because you usually, in a build like this, you go Draco, like any rank 7 gets you to full combo, because you can make Draco Sack with tokens and then link off to Moon or like whatever you need, Cherubini. And then you have the Fiendsmith cards, which are cool. Then you have the rank up spell. Oh, you run it for the rank up spell to get into Kali Yuga. Got it. Plus the Disarray. This deck looks like an abomination, I bet. It's just Kali Yuga Turbo. Got it. Is there anything else we need to say? Yagi here. Shout out to Yagi. We have his branded list here. Let's roast this. He did give me Hysteria, so I can't roast it too hard, right? No bias. 3 Albaz, 3 Shrouded, 2 Cartesia. We love the 2 Cartesia, the 3 Aluber, 2 Quam, 1 Mag, 2 Saranir, 2 High Spirits. I think at 50 cards, the 2 High Spirits with a little bit lesser of a bestial count makes sense. I still think 3 High Spirits minimum is going to be the standard, though, for sure. And then, like, 3 is better for, like, a 60 card build. And then you do run the 1 branded in red, which makes sense in a 50 card build. You're never really going to need the 3rd or the 2nd. And a lot of the time, you just, like, don't want to brick on Brandon Red as much. As good as Brandon Red is, like, it kind of requires you to play the game. However, it is still very good to help you dodge Imperm. It's very good for the crackback. So I think, like, running the 1 makes sense. You do have Gold Sark with Called By with no Foolish. I think Foolish is the weakest out of all the singletons and branded spells. You are running a pretty big board breaker package of Book of Eclipse, Droplet, and Dark Ruler, which is understandable. It's like the Marat deck. This is kind of like Marat's deck list, so I think overall this kind of list works. And then 1 Duplication, 1 Retribution. And then you have a pretty standard extra deck with the Masquerade in the extra, which is cool. I've been seeing a lot more extra masquerades in the main, which is interesting for sure. And then we do have the Lane Darkness Dragon plus the Banishment for playing around Shifter. It's also very good going first, so it's interesting to see that on the side, I will not lie. But you do have the Blazing Branded King plus the Black Coat plus the Tikaboo for all your going first options. My man is just choosing the Floodgate route instead of like the multiple fusion duplication route or like Nadir Servant to help you go first. I think you always do need cards in your side deck, your extra deck, to really help you go first, so definitely helps in that respect. And then the Cosmic is cool. I would take out the, I guess you could run Droll over Molchummy, so this works. Yes, overall, I like it. I would probably just say the Lane Darkness Dragon plus the Bashment could probably get removed for the side for something like, I think you need like another hand trap to prevent the FTK. So something like Imperm, or Imperm would go really hard, or even Nib. I like the Cosmics though. It's something I've wanted to consider personally. So it's very good to chain on Disarray because they don't get their negate if you chain on their Disarray. Alright, Hamzaz. Alright, let's not look at his tabs. So... oh, Boku no Hero. A fellow Chad. That's all I needed to see. So... shout out to My Hero ending soon. So, yeah, 54 cards. We love 54. 54 is actually my favorite number in Branded. I think it's like a nice little in-between 60 or not. Hamza, take note on the budget and 0 thrust. Otherwise, criticize as freely as you want. And what do you think about Nadir? Well, I think, like, you just saw my man, Jorge, just kind of, using the hand trap brand. You know, I think like hand trap brand is just fine. He wasn't main decking thrust. He was siding it. So for that reason, I don't think you need thrust. I think you could run other cards. I think the Nadirs really help with more fusion duplications like you have here, plus the Maximus. And then you do have the Allure of Darkness plus the High Spirits. So I think all those cards kind of synergize together. Might be a little bit too much spells though. I do see a lot of green. So you probably want to up your dragon count on some level, but go to 3 Shrouded Dragon at least, 2 Quem. I mean, this is like a budget version, so you could keep it at 1 Quem. Maybe 3 Cartesia at that point. And then I do think you need like a couple more Saronniers, like 2 Saronnier at least, and then 3 Albion. You could cut this. I mean, Super Poly's cool. You don't have other board breakers. So I'd just say Book of Clips would be better than Super Poly at this point. Just take out, because you don't have Mud Dragon either, so Super Poly is not that great. So I'd run Book of Eclipse over that and then take out 1 Talons. You could even take out a couple Fusion dupes at that point and put them in the side. Like, it's up to you, but I think without Thrust, 3 Fusion dupe probably makes sense overall. Because it's like drawing Thrust anyway, right? So I think the 3 Fusion dupe you can keep. I'd just like add more darks for Allure and High Spirits and add Eclipse over Super Poly. Then take out Talons. 3 Albion. Shifter on the side is very spicy. It's something I've seen in other branded decks. I've actually debated on this for this format because it has to be good, right? It has to be good in our deck right now. So I just think like without, I mean, you would have to side out the Nadirs. That's why I presume you're siding out immediately for the shifters. I just think you need Dragoon if you're gonna run a shifter in your main. That's just me though. Yeah. So solid list, just make some adjustments and you'll get there. You could go to 60. If you went to 60 though, you would have to put in Desires. And then just like add the other cards I mentioned. Alright, next deck list. CD Sonic. How's it going? How's it going, bro? So we have a 50 card branded list with Book of Moon. That is something spicy. Because, of course, Book of Eclipse is, I think, our best card right now, our best board breaker, because it's like a Called by the Grave for Impervs and Veilers and Ghost Mourners, which are currently being mained in most decks. that can play hand traps. So I think that running Book of Eclipse is very good right now. It's also a big board breaker, but my man was like, nah, we're gonna look at Book of Eclipse, which baits a Nash and also wipes the board, and we're gonna run Book of Moon. That's as much roasting as I can give you on that. Outside of that, it's actually a really solid list. I would just say, like, Book of Eclipse is really better than Moon. It's just flatly better than Moon. Obviously, it can't be Ash, but, like, that's fine. If you bait Ash with Book of Eclipse, that's fine. Like, that's actually, like, a good thing that can be Ash, in my opinion. And Book of Moon can't save you, whereas, like, if you set Book of Moon, you're probably not turn skipping them. Where Eclipse, you have a much higher percent of turn skipping them with it. So I do think that you should remove that for Eclipse, and then you should maybe put Droplet down. You should definitely put Talents to 1, put Droplet down to 2. Just too many board breakers. You're going to brick going first and have a bad time because of that. Obviously, drawing Super Poly and Droplet aren't bad, though. And they're all quick plays, so obviously you can set these cards if you brick on them, so it's not horrible in that respect. At least, like, it's not Molchummy or Dark Ruler. At least they're quick play, so I see the logic you're going with that. I would just say Eclipse would be better than Moon, and then you could do Dark Ruler over Super Poly, so that... Because Dark Ruler is just, like, really good right now. I think Dark Ruler is the best board breaker, so you want to run Dark Ruler one way or another. I think Droplet's really good, but you force way too much card advantage out with that card. Besides that, I mean, maybe a couple more Bestials, and that's all I could really say. Second Quem, obviously. Very solid, though. You are running Garura Muddragon, though. You would be able to fit a lot more extra cards in, though, like Elba Lenatus. And also, it looks like you're cutting something, which I can't think of right now. And, you know, having those concessions in the extra deck is sometimes is sometimes not great. So I would say you would probably would be better off just taking that out, though. And then you do have the side deck with the 3 sphere modes. Sphere mode is based. I don't know how good it is, but, you know, Marat said in theory it was pretty good, so... And then you do have the... I don't like siding extra deck cards, personally, unless it's Masquerade, so I'd probably just take the Alba and, like I said, cut the Super Poly for the Droplet, because Droplet... I mean, or, sorry, for the Dark Ruler, because Dark Ruler just hits a lot more, and Super Poly does not board break. Right now, it doesn't really board break. It won't end the board unless you're going against, like, Desiree Turbo and you have Lost up on the board. It's the only way that Super Poly really hits, because then, like, Lost won't make the Desiree trigger its graveyard effect. But if you don't have Lost on the board, you just went neg Super Polying. Slendermancer said, I love Ogre. It gives you more if you see it. What's up, Slendermancer? I appreciate you, brother. My trusted mod in the chat. That was a very fun Kelly Yuga Turbo deck that you submitted. Breakup Magic? Hell yeah. Eclipse Ashable, Moon not. Yeah, exactly, Slender. That's basically where we're at with that. 3D Barrier seems a bit excessive too. D-Barrier is not that great right now. Like, even calling Fusion against Fiendsmith doesn't really do anything, so I'd just take that out and get better. Things like Nadir, more Fusion duplication would be better for going first. Plus it's better against other decks. 3 Cosmics I can't even hate on. But I think you do need stuff for the FTK, so I think you need to make room for, like, some Nibs, some Imperms, or else you're just losing to Gimmick Pup FTK, or else you're just losing to Fiendsmith FTK. So you guys gotta realize, like, you will have your extra deck is gonna, or your side deck's gonna fail in this format if you don't have hand traps in your side. Like, if you don't have any hand traps in your side, like, just know I'm going to be roasting your list, because you need hand traps in your side deck right now. If not, like, you are playing a coin flip game of does your opponent FTK you or not. Games 2 and 3, or if you're playing against Gimmick Puppet, so yeah. It just is what it is. That is the format. Just letting you guys know now, before it happens to you. You see, that's the good thing about not doing well at Nats. I think someone asked me what my record was. It was X3 by round 4. It was not good. But I was able to talk to a lot of top players, all the top branded players too. And we all just kind of, like, you know, I came to the conclusion that you want to focus your deck for still going first, but while still having board breaking in the back pocket, and then have some spice with, like, Molchummy in the side. And also just, like, you know, having the correct board breakers is really, really particular. Like Book of Eclipse, Dark Ruler is just so good right now. Best hand traps decided. I mean, I just did a deck profile. I would say, all the hand traps I had in my deck profile are pretty good. Imperm, Nibiru, Ash Blossom, Molchummy are the ones that you should be considering. If you don't have Molchummies, Droll is definitely something. There's also other spice that we're going to be going over after Euros because I don't want to spoil Nightfall's goo. Shout out my boy Nightfall. Shout out my boy Raul. Good luck to all those goats, those European goats. Shout out to Angra. Hope everyone does well at Euros this year. I'm hopefully going to live stream Euros tomorrow, but I don't know if I'll be awake for that. No, you're good, Corey. That's why I repeated. I figured. I'd say overall, Ash Blossom is the weakest out of those. And like I said, you could do Droll over Molcharmy if you don't have it. But ideally, I think the best side deck hand trap package is Molcharmy, Nib, and Imperm. You need 9 hand traps in your side. It's 6 to 9, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, Marat did it, but like, I think obviously Marat's list worked out for him that day. So it's like, it was a very good list. I just think like overall, when you're testing a lot of this format, hand traps do perform the best in the side in our deck right now, because you need something to answer the FTK, whether it's from Fiendsmith, whether it's from Gimmick Puppet, you know. And if you Gimmick Puppet did win, you know, they're very good against Senpai too, the hand trap. So let's see this list: 3 Albaz, 3 Cartesia, 3 Aluber, 2 Merc, 3 Sarnier, 3 Albion, and you do have what do we have over here? I think I see a Maximus, a Kit, and then a couple other cards I can't quite tell. We do see the Nadir, so obviously that's a Maximus. 2 High Spirits with the 3 Dark Ruler. Love to see it. 2 Branded Red, 1 Lost, 3 Branded Opening, 2 Talons, 3 Brand Fusion. No Thrust, so we're looking at a Thrustus build with 3 Allure, plus 1 Called Pilot, plus 1 Gold Sark. So we see a lot of people just opting to cut the Foolish Burial right now, which is understandable, it being kind of like the weakest one of, and Gold Sark being way more diverse. I do think I like seeing people back on Allure, though, because I think Allure, like I said, with Molcharmy kind of power creeping Droll and Lockbird, like, what do you guys want to do? Do you guys want to go neg 1 and make your opponent not search, or do you guys want to go +2 and let your opponent still play the game? I think the other option is a little bit better because it allows you to at least like break a board, you know, or at least draw into your other hand traps rather to stop the other things, because a lot of the time Droll just doesn't turn skip. So I think playing Allure is just fine right now. No one's going to be drolling you really. And then 3 Fusion Duplication is just good. You have the Branded Sword too. I love to see it. I like Branded Sword with the Allure Darkness, so that's good. Plus the High Spirits. Have you seen the combo guide with Branded Sword, guys? I would be curious. It's a very good combo guide, guys. And we're gonna be releasing we're releasing a 6-hour branded guide on, I believe it's tomorrow or Monday. It's all edited out. One of my most lengthy it's my longest video ever. You guys are gonna love the video. 6 hours of just learning branded, everything you ever needed to know in branded in that thing. Also, I'm gonna be doing a combo spreadsheet master guide for Raul's spreadsheet, which is like the best branded spreadsheet out there. So I'm very happy to be able to put that into video form. And you guys are gonna love that too. So yeah, the side deck or extra deck's pretty good. Just remove. And Gruber makes sense. Can't quite tell like some of these cards though. Like, I don't know. That looks like a Boral, so I like that. Masquerade is like fine. Then you do have the Magnum up plus 2 Droplet plus 3 Droll plus the Feather Duster and the Cosmics and the Blazing Brightest Branded King, and then 3 evenly matched. I feel like you're missing some side deck cards. Am I wrong about this? Yeah. Yeah, there's 2 missing, but that's okay. We'll just pretend you had nibs there. No, thanks a lot. No problem, Hamza. And Wild Moon is still on testing grounds because I like the one-to-one interaction with Moon. I understand with Moon. I'm thinking of one talent for another Bestial. Yeah, I agree. I think one talent for a Bestial would go a long way. You just can't have too many green cards when you're running like things like High Spirits. You still have to have a good ratio of like, you know, Dark Dragons or whatever. Even at least light spellcasters being like the next best High Spirits target, you know. So we do have the top 32 South American Peru list. This was from a few days ago. This was before Fiendsmith though, but it has 3 fusion dupe in the main with Thrust, which is cool. Definitely a cool list. So it shows that you can still run 3 fusion dupes, kind of like the Yuri tech or Nightfall tech that we saw going on last format. Crossouts in the side. I don't really love crossout right now, but obviously, like, it can work. I think crossout's, like, way better if you're on a hand trap package. If you're only crossouting, like, Ash and D-Barrier, I don't know. It's, like, really difficult also to even justify crossout right now because a lot of people are just FTKing with things other than D-Barrier. They're just FTKing with, like, Simul Archfiend, like different dimension ground. You can't just side all those. The Brightest Blazing Branded King, great card. Evenly just being a mainstay and then some droplets on the side. I can't even hate on it. He does only have 3 Dark Ruler, which is kind of crazy. Not that many board breakers, but he does have the Allure, so Allure gets him to his board breakers. Here's Owen's list from a few days ago. Nadir with Dark Magician, very cool. He's siding Dark Magician, which is something I will just off the bat roast my man for, my channel member Owen. Love the man, but you should not be siding Dark Magician. I know it's something maybe to try out, but like you should either main it or not. Like you could very much obviously just cut the Elvelenatus or even a Stapelia at that point. His Dark Magician kind of just fills the void of like that shifter out, so I do like the main a lot though because you have Book of Clips plus Allure, some of my favorite cards, and Brand plus Nadir. You don't have Dark Ruler though, but you have Dark Ruler on the side. I would say you could probably take out Sword, Brightest, and like White, and then just put in the Dark Rulers. Just have a bear going second. Otherwise, with the Nadirs especially, it's not looking like the best going second potential with this kind of list. 2 Aluber might be a bit rough too, but I think works. 1 Quem, like I said, probably it's always 2 Quem unless you can't afford it. But I do think Dark Magician has a big spot this meta though, because no one's really on Zealantis anymore. They kind of made that extra deck concession in a lot of these Snake Eye lists. So you know, for access codes. So I think that not a lot of people are on Typhon either because of that. So I think that overall Dragoon got a bit better because those 2 cards aren't in the meta, which were 2 cards that just kind of insta-outed Dragoon. Brand White's cool. It's a great top deck. Brand Sword is great too. I just think like you need cards going second that are pretty good. Good for going first and going second. That's why I like Allura. That's why I like Book of Clips. That's why I like High Spirits. So I think those are the kind of cards you should be focused on with Branded, Brand High Spirits, or Brand White. Brand Bryce Blazing, Branded King, and Brand Sword are all great cards. They just aren't great going second. So. Side deck, though, the Ogres are cute. I would just say these should be nibs. They don't stop the FTK like Nib or Imperm would. So I'd take out, like, the Dark Magician package and then just put in, like, some nibs with, like, Banishment. Then put in, like, a Imperm over Ogre. This is Branded Millennium. Shout out to Zelda Duelist. This is an interesting roastable list. He's running 3 Aluber, 1 Albaz, plus the Exodia pieces, plus the Millennium Engine, plus Relinquish for some reason. Why is the Relinquish in there? Then he has Branded Fusion plus Opening. All fusions plus a few links just in case. This is such a funny deck. I don't even know how this is supposed to function. Like, what's the point of the branded cards in here? Do you, like, send a piece of Exodia to the graveyard? Here's Kendall Brown's deck list from a few days ago. He said, here's the list I'm working on right now. I don't think 60 is the play with how much troll we saw. Takes inspiration for the top 16 list with a few updates just based on my IRL card pool. I mean, fair enough. I just think also the fact is people are going to be playing Molchummy over Droll, so... I think 50 is still fine. But I don't think you need to be afraid of Droll personally, so I kind of don't agree with the premise. Thanks, Slenderman, sir. I'll check it out after this one. I really wish I had streamed earlier, guys. I just want to stream all day. I know it's getting later. I appreciate everybody still hanging out. I think we're gonna have to definitely double stream and like have another one tomorrow, guys. Always remember we do stream on Twitch as well if you want better quality. If you want to help me get Twitch partner over there. Weird deck, so Droll not that good then. Yeah, Droll's not that good right now. Like, Droll is only good with another hand trap on top of that, and as branded, you don't have the ability to see 2 hand traps all the time. I also think Molcharmy is just a better card in our deck. It gets us cards rather than neg us. We are a mostly 2-card combo deck, guys. You gotta remember that. So having more cards in hand to break board is still a great thing. I do like this deck. You have Molcharmy in the side, but you can't run Molcharmy and Droll though, because Droll says you can't draw. Molcharmy says you can draw. So these should be nibs. That's just a deck building error. Besides that, I really do like the deck. I think you have some going first options here with the Duplication, Banishment, Brightest, and then D-Barrier with the Board Breakers and the Bestial. Bestial being the best hand traps right now. So like you should max out Bestials wherever you can. I think Druistorm's just fine. Dark Ruler Eclipse is very good. So shout out to Kendall. I do really like his main deck's perfect, honestly, for a 50 card list. Perfect. This is the 50 card list I would run. Asteria 2. So we do have the Whitewoods Goo. The White Forests are taking over Metagames GX Central. Miraza and Wild just replaced 1 talent with a Baldrake. Completely agree. Villa, new branded player, buying my cards and hope to test them soon. Hell yeah, let's go, Villa. Welcome to the branded gang, my man. Congratulations. What kind of build are you going to be going for first? Do you have like a build on like yugioh? Or yeah, we just didn't we just review yours? So like, yeah, no. Definitely good luck with that. I would say do you play at locals? Do you play online mostly? I'd say definitely get some test hands in, play some games, run some games on Dueling Book. The branded is a deck that rewards a player's time investment in the deck, so definitely just like getting interactions in, like getting miles with the deck, you know, running games will just go a long way. Just learning how your deck interacts into other decks is like the #1 way to learn a Yu-Gi-Oh deck. So definitely best of luck with that. I would say learning rulings and technicalities, like knowing that you can chain Cartesia after Borreload to get free fusion fodder and a free pop, because Borrel doesn't need to pop both cards. So, you know, just little things like that, or like branded loss protection ruling windows are very important. I do have a how branded loss video that I made in the past. I would recommend checking out if you aren't already aware. Also do have a huge guide coming out, 6-hour guide on branded, so very much might be something you're interested in. All right, let's check out some of these newer deck lists. All right, so we have Slayer's deck list here. Shout out to Slayer, channel member Slayer in the chat. Really do appreciate you, my brother. You also did shout out to Slayer. He donated like $10 when I was even streaming the other day. Thank you, bro. We do have like the best community out there, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm not trying to even cap on that. I'm just like so lucky that I have this channel, and it's one of those things that was such a pleasant surprise, because I remember when I started this YouTube, it was very much just like, I'm gonna give myself 2 months, and if nothing happens, then we're just done with it. Because all my other previous YouTube ventures had not really worked out too well. For whatever reason, just not being focused and being a young kid, and you know, you guys really just start coming through, and like I met just so many people through Yu-Gi-Oh that I can't ever see myself not also doing Yu-Gi-Oh and YouTube at some capacity. Like, maybe it won't always be like full time. Like, this isn't even full time right now, but like I am able to put in a lot of effort right now, so I do appreciate that, and that's all because of you guys, and just the love and support that you guys show me on a daily and weekly basis. So thank you all for being the best community out there. No problem, brother Branded Brothers. Team Sidra, too bad you don't play Cybers. Would be nice to get your input on my list, because I'm gonna try to get top with it. I mean, I will I'll review it, Sidra. I used to play Cyber Dragons back in the day, so this was before the new support. And I'm familiar with how Cyber Dragons work. It's really cool to see, like, I love when people are like, I'm gonna bring my favorite deck to an event and use it, because like that's what I'm trying and win with it, because that's what I'm trying to do with the Branded. I want to show you guys that Yu-Gi-Oh is such a wide open game right now. Like, the power between the best deck and your favorite deck is not that big as it used to be. So like, you can really top with any kind of deck if you put in the time and effort with it. So I love that energy, Team Sidra. So I really do. I wish you luck with your with trying to top with Cyber Dragons. That's a deck though that you will get support for in the future. When it does, like you know, everybody watch out. So still would love to see the list if you do have it, but I don't know how much like great input I can really give you. To be fair, since I'm not a Cyber Dragon player, I can give support on most meta decks, but Cyber Dragon is just not something I'm too familiar with. I test with so many people that play other decks. I play against so many other decks. I could definitely like safely critique a Snake Eye or a Yubel deck, or really any of the top 10 decks. Villa, I play with my friends. I want to play at locals, but I'm kind of new, so I want to get some experience first. That's a good idea. I think I didn't go to locals for a few weeks when I first got Branded, just to get a feel of the deck and play until I could actually just like go about a turn without just like shitting my face. Pack got me into Branded, but you made me want to play the deck. Aw, I appreciate it. Pack is a great... Pack's awesome, man. Shout out to Pack. We had him on the Branded cast actually a few weeks ago. If you haven't checked out that episode, go under my podcast playlist after this is done, Villa, and go listen to that. You know, shout out to Pack, man. He really was really just rocking that deck super hard for a while there. So big slap-sided swap Droll with Imperm. Fair. I mean, if you're not on Molchummy though, I think Droll is just fine. But still think that's why Molchummy's better, because like you can't play through Molchummy. Team Sidra, I believe the main deck is good, just the side needs to work. Well, I could definitely help you with the side. I'm very good with side decks. I'm very good with ratios and deck building when it comes to Branded. Like, that's definitely one of my... Not saying I'm the best, but like, I love theorying. And I think about things... I look at deck lists on a daily basis for my YouTube, so it's just like... I feel like I have a pretty good idea of like what, you know, constitutes a good side deck in like the current meta, which is always changing every like whatever every week or so. And then evenly with the Droll, 3 Dark Ruler, 3 Eclipse, 2 Brand High Spirits with 1 Branded in red. Very solid list. I do like the Slayer. I'd say at 50 cards, this is very clean. This is actually basically why I would run at 50 cards. Maybe too many. Maybe I'd drop the droplets for like maybe another Bestial plus High Spirits personally. That's what I would do over Marat's list, but it's very close and it works for Marat. You run the Droll plus Nibiru, which works with the Magnuma, and evenly with Cosmics with 1 Nadir. I do like the 1 Nadir. You took that from me, brother. I've been running 1 Nadir in my build. I just didn't include it in the build today. I was like, I'm gonna run a Shadal Dragon instead. Alright, guys. I'm gonna just use the bathroom quick. I'm gonna throw up a video and then I'll finish some deck lists off. Sorry guys, I just like really have to use the bathroom.
Watch. By the way, my initials are Jam. So let's go ahead and buckle up and get into it, starting with by far the most requested card of the day, the stainless steel Dark Magician Girl that was shock dropped by Konami, shown off by YouTubers and influencer sites like Hypebeast. Oh my gosh, it's only 150. That's like almost a tenth of the Dark Magician Platinum. So what do I feel about this? First off, I did buy one for my personal collection. However, if you're trying to make free tendies and order a ton, here's a word of caution. Nowhere on this page does it say the word limited. It does not exist. Limit does not exist on this page, right? It says numbered, and also we saw on the YouTubers and influencer stuff a number up towards 5,000 US. They also say they will be shipping these in waves. That means they could take orders, see how many orders there are, and even create more if they want by the wording on the website. Now again, it is way better of a price for barrier of entry on a really nice looking card, so I don't want to dissuade you from getting your own if you want. I don't think it'll be coming down in price necessarily from this ever, but the question is, how many are available? How long? How many did they take to San Diego Comic-Con? And in what numbered fashion do the ones over there exist? I ordered within an hour and I was 1,600 something. So I have trouble kind of believing it's been up this long and not even sold out through the 5,000 mark. Like, I feel like it should be over that if it's still up. But we don't know any of those numbers and they're not saying the limits on it. So if you're trying to go in deep, good luck with that one, in my opinion. There's also the EU release. There's the Latin America, South America, all those areas also get an independent release. There could be 15K of these. There could be 11. There could be 7. We just don't know the initial number and if they plan to print more within the wording on Wave. Sometimes I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player that reads on terms and services. With info, it has been going up on the cards but down in price for the sealed. That is interesting, isn't it? Vendors did get home. They listed more of the sealed despite a lot of the cards kind of fluctuating inside. Fiendsmith Engraver is above triple digit very solidly. Now it started out at that 95, 98 where it was
So yeah, shout out to my man pulling the engraver on stream, Corey. Must be pretty happy about that. Hell yeah, man. Yagi, I feel as a new branded player, when you look up tips, it's either you or Galzo. Yeah, I was like surprised, like at Nats, I got approached like every, like not even like tooting my own horn, like every 5 minutes I was walking somewhere, someone would recognize me, or like people would just be like looking at me as if they knew me but wouldn't say anything because they're shy. So I was like, oh, that was it was very flattering. I got a few people who had me sign like their jersey, their play mats. I think I had like 1 or 2 card signatures. So Slendermancer, you don't play cash, still reviewed my list. Sidra, also Twitch has a smaller delay. Mason, what simulator is this? It's, I'm not sure which one that one. GZ1K, the gap is still big for me. Which crafters ain't ever gonna be good? Yeah, GZ1K, not with some decks, it's always like there is a gap. There's too much of a gap, to be fair, but with a lot of decks there isn't. And Wild TV, if my locals is infested with fusion synchro decks, would you run D barrier? I mean, sure. But like also, I don't think you need money D barrier when you have Thrust in your deck. Like Thrust is just another copy of D barrier, right? So let me review the rest of these deck lists, if there are any more. Maxi, this is what I'm playing for locals. Tomorrow, Didia build. If I don't like it, I'm gonna change it. I'm always a branded player forever. Well, that's what we love about you, Maxi, is that you still you experiment outside the box, and you also use different builds. So we do appreciate you playing other things than branded. You do have the 2 Ghost Ogres, 2 Martyrs with the 3 Veiler, with the Snake Eye package, with 1 Flame Burge, 1 Snake Eye Diabell Star, 3 Snake Eyes Ash, with 4 Bystials. I actually think the Bystials are quite correct in Snake Eye right now because they're level 6 extenders, so it helps you go into Beatrice, but so it makes it so you can go into Dire Eye without having to go into Lacrimosa. Also, it's just very good in the mirror match and against things like branded. So I think running 4 of those completely makes sense. The 1 Flame Burge makes sense, although it sucks sometimes. 3 Witch, you gotta do it. 3 Ash makes sense. I think the the 2 Mourner and 2 Ogre are a bit awkward. I just removed the Ogre. Ogre isn't very good right now. So I just remove the Ogre for maybe Nib. Or sorry, not with another Mourner. And then you could get down to 44 with the Veilers and the Imperms. Then you do run 1 Tractus. Or sorry, 1 Fiendsmith track with 1 OSS, with 2 Poplars, 1 Lurie, and then the Veilers and the the Wanted and the Field spell. Plus the Azure statue, which is obviously you're able to search it off of the rabbit link over here. This guy is really good. It searches out basically any continuous trap card, and this thing is basically a summon negate, so it's very much a generic link 2 that can get you out to a negate, which is very good. Very strong list. You can see why this won the event. Like, very tacked out, and at 45 cards you don't even need to go to 40 because your whole deck is full of 1 card extenders. Villa, I'm a Dino player trying to get into Branded. Hell yeah. I love Dinos, man. Dinos used to be one of my favorite decks. And Branded is actually, I think you'll find your home with it. There's a lot of fun aspects like Dinos had with Branded. Like when you loop a Mirajay and break a board, you are gonna... It's like the same feeling that you would get with like a UTC. Side deck's pretty good. You know, Mulchummy with the Phantasma. I'd probably remove the Phantasma. Also, it's weird to side these extra deck cards, but I guess it makes sense in, like, this deck. Feels a bit teched out for the event, so maybe you could, like, make some changes, you know? You do... I mean, there's no Angel Blue tier either, which I think is incorrect. Like, I would just side the Angel Blue tier with, like, D-Berry, because it just, like, seals the deal with your Branded matchup, honestly. As long as you don't Irwin die roll. So yeah, I think that's about it for deck lists, right? Like, I basically covered everyone. Any other interesting deck lists I forgot? Oh, shout out to Sunlight Wolf. We're gonna roast our mods. This is Fiendsmith Salad, so you guys might be seeing this coming up on the channel soon, hopefully. 3 Fiendsmith engravers with one tracked. Where's the Lurie? With 1 Lurie, 2 Salad of Fire, 3 Weasel, 3 Gazelle, 1 Falco, 2 Lady Debug with Ash, Veiler, Imperm. This is a very solid list, honestly. I really do like it. With the 2 traps, I actually like this a lot. With the DD Wave, King Caesar, I'd run Beatrice because I feel like Beatrice could also, like, basically bridge you in by, like, sending Salad of Fire, and then you can go Promethea Princess, and then revive Salad of Fire effect. So, I think that's how it works, right? Because Salad of Fire isn't like Branded Fusion. It might be. I could be wrong. If it's like Branded Fusion, you can't do that. Or no, you can't because it locks you into fire. So yeah. Definitely would run the Beatrice. I think Wave King, or Beatrice is better than Wave King. And then you could do Beatrice plus the FTK package on the side for like D-Barrier. Nib, Droll plus the Tactics plus the Evenly. Don't tell Kyle this though. He plays at my locals. I don't want him doing this to me though. So guys, do not go on Firebrand YGO's YouTube and comment on his community page. Run Angel Blue tier to troll Metagames GX on stream. Do not do that. That would be horrible. Also, do not subscribe. Do not subscribe to him while you're at it. And by that, I mean subscribe. We love Kyle. $700 or $400 board breaking decks. Gotta love them. That was a $750 deck. Wow. This one is pretty expensive though too. This one's like a $600 deck because of the engravers. Oh, the Didia deck was like $700. That makes sense. Shout out to full power Snake Eye still being like way more money. My Dino player. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, guys. That can be it for me for today. Is there anything else you guys want to see? I was gonna do some test hands, but it's like it's kind of late now, so I might just like I'm gonna do the test hands tomorrow on stream. Because I have, like, nothing better to do. Well, no, I actually do have some plans tomorrow, so... We will be streaming at some point, though. To try to, do those test hands. I think we could just end it while it's short and sweet, right, guys? Unless you guys, like, want to see a dueling book game or something. But outside of that, if not, we're gonna stream tomorrow. And kind of go from there. I really do want to get back into doing some locals gameplay though, so you guys should look forward to me being at locals this Wednesday. I'm hoping to also start to head back out to Heart of the Game, which is where I used to go to locals on Saturdays a lot more than I have been, hopefully. right, guys. So if you guys have any other questions before we log out here, please let me know now. Because I think I'm going to go chill. I'm going to go do some offline grinding on DB, get some videos done as well. Very much do appreciate the stream, guys, though, today. Very nice. Got a few, shout out to Corey for the channel donations. Always does really, I really do appreciate it because it helps support the channel, helps support great content going forward. Might try out your 60 card list? Hell yeah. Good luck with it, Yagi. I appreciate you coming through, brother. Alright, guys. We are going to log out here. Make sure to leave a like down below. We will be back next Friday for another stream. Also next Monday for another stream. So make sure to check those out when they come out. We do have a huge branded list coming out. A branded guide coming out very soon. So look forward to that. And with that being said, have a great rest of your day, guys.